Robert, peace. Peace. Any questions before we get started? Any questions? Robert. We loaded. Y'all ready? So, any questions? We about to get started. Y'all come on in. Who all got pardons? What is this, brother? You'll see. All right. And so, it came to pass. It came to pass that there was a question asked. You may be familiar with this story, you may not be. The question was to the people by a man named Pilate. He asked, do you want Barabbas or do you want Asa, or the one y'all call Jesus? That was the question. Barabbas or Jesus? And the people who were all out there observing said, give us who? They all said, give us Barabbas. Now, those who've been paying attention, you know me, you know how I move and how swift I am. Those who haven't, you don't know me. You think you know me. So, a while ago, years ago, back in like 2020, 2021, 2022, there was somebody by the name of Rod Hayes, right? And Rod Hayes came out speaking about the Galactic Federation, intergalactic law, galactic intervention with prisoners, namely a prisoner who is called Larry Hoover. And I remember watching and observing Rod Hayes because a lot of people, including people like Isis Wisdom, were mentioning and talking about Rod Hayes, and his videos and everything was being sent to me. And I'm like, who is this guy? So I listened to one of his videos, a few seconds of it, and immediately I knew that this man was a student of Dr. Malachi York, who was called Asa. Imam Asa, go look it up. Imam Isa, or Isa Muhammad. So I remember the days of Clubhouse, and I approached Rod Hayes on Clubhouse and asked him after I realized about that. He started speaking about the Anunnaki. Some of y'all may not remember this, right? Okay, check this out. He approached, he was in certain rooms, right? And he was talking about the Anunnaki coming through to rain judgment on America. The Galactic Federation was going to get involved. Lightning was going to strike the ground, all of that, right? Okay, so I approached Rod Hayes in the Clubhouse days, and I asked him, I said, yo, have you ever heard of Malachi York? Have you ever heard of Malachi? Right? And he said, yes, he had. He said, yeah, he said, I know Malachi, yeah, I know who he is. And it was a lot more than just he knew who he was, because everything he was out here teaching when he was interesting was coming from the Holy Tablets, Dr. Malachi York's book. The Anunnaki, the Galactic Federation, all of that, right? Including some of the things that he was trying to say were prophecies, all that came from the Holy Tablets. So I just remember the conversation start to shift after I mentioned Malachi York to him. Then he started to mention Dr. Malachi York. Okay, but before then, it was only the Galactic Federation, the Anunnaki, and the bloodlines of the Anunnaki, Enlil's children, Enki's children, what was going on with them. And most specifically, he covered Larry Hoover and Larry Hoover's freedom. And this was less than 5 years ago, right? I stayed on Rod Hayes for the years to come. And then eventually Rod Hayes would link up with the brother Young Elder. And out of nowhere, Rod Hayes came out and was saying, yeah, we gonna help Malachi get out. This was about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, right? And I jumped up and said, where did Rod Hayes come from saying he was gonna help Malachi get out? When I spoke to Rod Hayes in 2021, he said Malachi didn't need any help because he was about to get out on his own. That, along with the fact that he was saying things like there were going to be extraterrestrial invasions in that year if Larry Hoover wasn't let out, allowed me to know that I was dealing with, and we are dealing with, one of the ones you call false prophets. And he's not alone. They said that there will be many, a lot, a whole bunch of false prophets. So how do you know a false prophet? Well, it doesn't matter how big the major following, if they don't got a major following. When people are trying to act as if their ideas are coming from some divine source. Why? Well, mostly because they feel incapable of producing thoughts that people will find worthy of listening to if they don't say that those thoughts came from something more divine that's bigger than themselves and bigger than their listeners. All right. Meaning they don't feel they have the authority to speak in that day and time. They don't have the authority to speak before things occur. And if they don't feel that they have the authority, then they're right. Because the word authority right there, okay, authority, and I'm not misspelling it. Authority says you have the right, meaning you've gone through the initiations, or you have the right to be an author, meaning someone who writes with the pen. We come out and we say how things are going to go. People think prophets get respect. People think prophets get glory. So oftentimes they want to make themselves out to be prophets. They can't speak their own ideas without attaching themselves to some God or some spirit. That's damn near everybody who's trying to stand before y'all like leaders. So Rod Hayes is not alone. Okay. So check this out. Rod Hayes' time went on even after that. And I told Rod Hayes, I said, don't play with that. Don't play with you're going to help Malachi and for some clickbait and then think you're just going to disappear. And then ultimately, what did he wind up doing? A few videos talking about Malachi, a few videos merging in the Malachi situation with Big Mama and Empress Rarebird, and then he disappeared. And he stopped speaking on it. He stopped pushing for it. And it shows you what? That not only was Rod Hayes not someone that was even going to advocate fully for Larry Hoover, he never intended to advocate fully for Imam Asa or Malachi York. What's the point here? My point here is there are a lot of people who are out here who y'all think care about the story, but they don't care about the story. And if they cared about the story, first of all, these two could never flip-flop. Second of all, you wouldn't have started here. If you cared about the story, you would have started with Abu Isa. If you cared about the story and making sure it played out how it needed to play out, some 20-year-old wouldn't have had to come along to tell you or remind you of the one who they have in there, and he's innocent, meaning he had no hands on crime at all. This story sounds familiar to me because there used to be talks of, in the olden times, Barabbas and Isa. And Barabbas was the one who they were saying was guilty for crimes. And Asa was innocent of crimes. But what and who did the people scream out and ask for? They asked for Barabbas to be pardoned. They asked for Barabbas to be freed. They asked for Barabbas to be released. And of the Son of Man, as it's called, or of Asa, of Jesus, what did they say? They yelled, and I read it, crucify him. Crucify him. They asked for every other prisoner, by the way. They asked for everybody to be freed. And they said, leave Asa in there. So without stretching it too far, I think it's clear what I'm saying here, right? Because this hasn't changed and it hasn't altered. They don't want Malachi free. Why don't they want Malachi free? Because Malachi's freedom signifies the end of their illusion, the end of their deception, the end of people getting praised and glorified. All these wannabe leaders and these 19 Keys, Umar Johnson, Rashad Jamal, all that batch, that whole spiritual community, they are afraid of that day. That's the day of reckoning. They're afraid of that day. That's the day of rising. They're afraid of that day because that day says you can no longer play like you knew what was going on when y'all spoke and you tore him down. Or two, like you're anywhere near Asa. Like you're anywhere near the one who, when he was walking around amongst y'all did this. All of you did this. You didn't say a word. And you knew not to, because the moment that you did, the truth that he spoke was going to shut all of the fallacy down. So they don't want Malachi out. And it's been like that for a long time. So here's my question to you, the world. How is it that you expect things to work and flow on this record when that which sets the record straight, the axis, the center, has been ignored? Y'all are trying to ignore the axis. Then what will you in turn be able to access? You're trying to ignore the one who's right in there with Larry. Y'all trying to look right over him. And how do you think things are going to turn out when you continuously overlook Malachi, the messenger sent to you? Asa, the son of righteousness, the messenger sent to you, the one who said, I am not Jesus. I am not the Messiah. I will be just like the Messiah. People will think I'm the Messiah, even though he has the closest story of anybody to the Messiah story, and it's happening in real time. He still says he's not the Messiah. So what is your issue? At this point, he's not claiming to be Jesus. He never claimed, I am Jesus, right? And still somehow y'all are asking for every other prisoner to be released. Yet Malachi York, y'all abandoned, and you don't want to speak about his situation at all. And let's get this clear, because a long time ago, there was a class. And if I'm not mistaken, the class was called, Are You Ready to Meet God? There was a question. Right? Are you ready to meet God? And in that class, he was talking to one of the sisters because he asked who thinks they're ready to meet God. And a sister raised her hand. He said, okay, we always got one. And the sister was talking to him. And in the middle of her talking, right, she didn't understand what he said. He said something to her. She didn't understand what he said. And she responded with, I beg your what? Pardon. She said, I beg your pardon. You want to know what his response was? He said, why? She said, what? She didn't understand what he meant. He said, well, if you're begging my pardon, then you're asking me to leave. Okay? If you're begging, and she said, okay, I get you. You're like, right, okay. And then they kept their conversation going. What's my point here? If you're begging somebody's pardon, you're asking them to leave. Also, what y'all need to understand is when someone is pardoned, you're not saying that this person is innocent. You're saying this person, go look it up, is forgiven for the things that they have done. Dr. Malachi York is innocent. He's been innocent from the beginning, and they all know it. Everybody knows it, including Farrakhan, when he went up there and said Dr. Malachi York was in prison on trumped up charges. Are you with me? Okay, so does Dr. Malachi York need a pardon? Let's deal with it linguistically. Linguistically, no. Dr. Malachi York doesn't need to be pardoned. Dr. Malachi York needs to be exonerated. He needs to be exonerated. Why does he need to be exonerated? Well, first of all, if I say the word exonerate or exoneration, I'm saying I'm taking your burden away. Whatever your burden was, I'm removing it. Right? And he's been carrying this burden of ungrateful people. He's been carrying this burden of ignorant people for far too long. And this burden, which is a biblical thing, by the way, you go look it up. Okay, you'll find it, I think, in the book of Psalms 52, Psalms 55, verse 22, and we'll read that. I got the Bible right here, so don't worry. Okay, Psalm 52, verse 22. Okay, it speaks about the burden. All right, it says to cast your burden away, or cast your burden onto the Lord. Okay, and it was all about the ones who were not able to be shaken too, who were called the righteous. Okay, the righteous ones wouldn't be able to be shaken no matter what you went through. And you were put on guard about some of the things you had to go through, including imprisonment. So the righteous ones are what are referred to as rataba. And rataba means unshaken. Okay, so you'll find that in Psalms 55, verse 22, which we'll probably read when we get to cracking open the Holy Book. All right, the Holy Bible right there. Okay, so Dr. Malachi York would need to be exonerated. Again, some people may not understand what they're saying. That's why, again, keep your eye and your ear on the axis, on the center, so that when you're in those times, listen, it don't matter. I'll be in the shower and an idea come to me, or I'm just walking and an idea will come to, keep listening, because you'll know where to go and what not to do and what not to say or what not to utter. All right. Another thing that y'all need to understand is when Malachi said he would be pardoning or departing, he said he would be departing with some people or without some people. And those people were referred to as the elite few. The elite few. This is in the book, The Holy Tablets. They want to try to write that book off, The Holy Tablets, as some religious book. I just got through watching The Man Who Fell to Earth for the third time. And I'm telling you, in that show, their whole focus is on the year 2030. And Dr. Malachi York prophesied that year 60 years ago, damn near. You understand that? He was saying that in his 20s, that the year 2030 was going to be when the world was going to be coming to an end. And they're putting it in The Man Who Fell to Earth. And again, it doesn't end how y'all think it ends. All right. There are a lot of things that have to happen before then. But just understand that when they're building shuttles and trying to get the fuck up out of here, it's for a reason. Dr. Malachi York explained, he said, if you're trying to leave your house, right? Your house is falling down, and you trying to go somewhere. Basically what he was saying was, you're building a shuttle. What are you trying to do? You're trying to leave, right? You plan on leaving because your house is falling down. Okay, so when they're taking off and trying to go places, they're looking for other homes, not because of the things that they're telling you on TV, but because of the things they won't even tell you on TV, but they'll tell you through the movies, all right, or through the TV series. Similarly, Man Who Fell to Earth, which Man Who Fell to Earth ain't nothing but just a turnaround version of Man from Planet Risk. You go and read that book, Man from Planet Risk, right? Which is by Dr. Malachi York, and everything that he's talked about, including the cold fusion, quantum fusion, the technology, the extraterrestrials, the whole character, the character that they got for Thomas Newton, all of that is in his book. Go read it. Man from Planet Risk. You should be able to find it on Scribd, okay? If you don't know, SCRIBD, Scribd. Okay, you should be able to find it. But Man from Planet Risk explains everything that they were talking about in that movie. So here's the interesting part. Dr. Malachi York hasn't been wrong about a single prophecy, including what? The prophecy of the one who's doing the pardons, whose name is Donald Trump. Dr. Malachi York told us when I was a child that Donald Trump was going to be president. And he would be the one that they would associate as the Antichrist. Only those who were there would know. You want to know how you can see it? I'll show you what's sacred. Okay? You go and look up this book on Google, Leviathan 666. Leviathan 666, Leviathan. And you'll see a face of a man with blonde hair. He was telling everybody around him, this is how I knew it growing up, that the man whose face was on the cover was Donald Trump. Are you with me? Meaning he would be the one who they would be referring to as the Antichrist. They would call him the Antichrist. And keep in mind that everybody's Antichrist ain't everybody's Antichrist. And everybody's savior ain't everybody's savior, right? Damien would be the savior for the Church of Shaitan, okay? Or the son of the God for the Church of Shaitan or the Church of Satan, okay? And Satan would be their God. You go read the book of Corinthians, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, where it tells you everybody is going to endure some type of transformation. You understand that? So go look up Leviathan 666 on Google and you'll see the face of Trump as a young man. All right. And Dr. Belakazi said he's going to become president. And they went on to confirm that. And they do it very sneaky or sneakily, right? They went on to confirm that in a film, which was really a documentary called Above Majestic. Go look it up. Above Majestic. All right. And in the documentary Above Majestic, they were explaining, government officials and military officials were explaining, yeah, we chose Trump a long time ago. And it was more about John G. Trump, who you don't hear about, his uncle, Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, who was locked in with someone who you may be familiar with. And his name is Nikola Tesla. So Nikola Tesla and John G. Trump were like this. They were locked in. And they were working on all kinds of advanced technology that the government didn't know anything about. Right? And they had to talk to him about it. And when they realized how advanced Nikola was, they started to push forth people like Thomas Edison. Right? They pushed Thomas Edison to keep the masses thinking that the technology still needed to get advanced over time. But if you really knew how advanced this government or these governments on earth are, okay, specifically and particularly because of the extraterrestrial influence they've had over the past century, all right, you wouldn't put anything past their abilities in this day and age. If you can imagine it, and if you've seen it in a sci-fi movie, okay, it exists. That's why they do that. That's why they call it sci-fi, okay, or science fiction, but they don't call it sci-com. They don't call, or what do they call it? They don't call it com-fi. All right, they don't call it comedy fiction. They don't call it rom-fi. You never seen that. They don't call it romantic fiction. They only put the science fiction there, okay, to put you in what? A paradox that says, you know, but what you know is fiction, to know fiction. You with me? No, they're telling you the truth through those sci-fi movies. Everything I'm telling you is real. You go look up things they call miracle weapons with people like Hitler. They had secret science and all this other stuff. That's reality. All the dark Star Wars movies and the Jedi versus the Dark, that really happened. And that's happening now. Okay, the Death Star, they've been keeping their eye on that Death Star. Different people call it different things. Sometimes it's called the Destroyer. You go watch the movie The Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's about an Etherian who went rogue. The Destroyer, right? Some people call it Planet X. Some people call it Nibiru. All right, or Nibiru. Okay, and we'll know who's been around, by the way. If you say Nibiru, we know you ain't been around. It's Nibiru. Some people call it different tones, different words. But the main thing is they say that when that comes, it's going to destroy this planet. It's going to destroy this plane. All right. And it's only a dreadful day, again, if you're not of whoever these elite few are. Now, interestingly enough, his name is Malachi. And in this very book, there's a chapter called Malachi, which if I can remember, we'll read it. It's a very short chapter. Okay. It's a very short book. But the point is, there is a book called Malachi and people overlook it. But there's a lot of explanations of who he is and what he'll come through to do. And Dr. Malachi York, up to this very moment, has lived up to the name, even unto the Son of Righteousness, all of that. You understand that? So a lot of people, again, get lost in the surface, not understanding how they can go further and find out who people really are, even just based on their nominal tones, their name, and you'll be able to see. And then see if their works match that name, and you'll know that that is that person. Because there are a million Malachis, all right? You'll know them by their what? By their works, not by the faith, or just believe in me because you see this name. All right. You'll know them by their actual works, the things that they do. Exactly. The book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 6. All right. Okay. So check this out. So this story is going on right now. So we're dealing with whether or not people can see in real time and bear witness to the one called Isa. Isa. Can you bear witness? Can you see right now who they have an issue with? Look at how much of the story aligns. All right. How did Dr. Malachi York say they're going to come for me eventually? They're going to say, I don't like that man. Let's make some lies up on him. Let's turn his people against him. Let's imprison him. And if we can, let's kill him because his own people won't help him anyway. And people will say, won't Allah step in and help you? I'll say, did he step in and help John the Baptist? The answer will be no. He would not intervene at that point. He was explaining to people that he would have to leave. He said, y'all better realize what I'm saying to you. He said, before they see how dangerous I am, and then I'll have to leave. So he was already explaining that he would have had to leave one day. And if you're paying attention to it closely enough, Dr. Malachi York already pardoned. He already, disappeared. He already disappeared. You may think you know where he is, but you don't even know the story. How do you know where he is? You may think you understand about what he was saying when he said many people come through and speak through him. Many beings and teachers come through and speak through him. That the one you think is Malachi, the one you think is Yanun, the one you think is Marduk, the one you think is Asa, the one you think is Rabboni Ashur, the one you think is Reverend Dr. Malachi York, the one you think is whatever name you want to use. He was still saying it wasn't just him, meaning he was functioning as a transmitter. Interestingly enough, when you look at the word exoneration, you see right there hidden a word exon. Okay. If I say exonerate, okay, I say exon all right. Let's spell it this way, right? Exon all right. Exon. Exon. What is an exon? An exon is a transmitter. You go look this up. That's why I told you how to study neuroscience. Okay. So if all of that response to stimuli that you're able to do, that's because of your exons. All right. They're able to transmit or send electrical signals from a nerve cell or a neuron cell and the energy from it. All right. All the way to other parts out of the cell body up to other parts like neurons or your muscle glands and things like that. Right. So go look it up. So you don't see I'm just saying stuff. All right. Axons. OK, you got axons. You got the nerve cells. You got the glial cells, all kind of stuff. So study neuroscience so you'll understand that. And I'm not just saying this because Dr. Malachi York referred to himself as a transmitter also. You understand that? So he needs exoneration. And I told y'all a long time ago that he said this, that he was looking to be exonerated. All right. When they offered him time served, Dr. Malachi York said, no, because I'm innocent. They offered him time served and he turned it down. That's why I told y'all in his song, Letter to Tory, that I know, somebody who been offered time served and turned it down because he was innocent and he was going to fight it. I'm talking about Malachi York. When I said I know an elder who lost his children, a few of his children and his mother while he was locked up, that's Malachi York. Notice everybody talking about who's an elder. This person's an elder. They're 70 something, right? Dr. Malachi York is 80 something. All right. Notice that everybody talking, this prisoner been in there too long, Dr. Malachi York been in there 23 years. Right? Notice people, this person, they didn't do nothing, Malachi York is innocent. And they keep overlooking him or trying to overlook him. And ultimately, they know they can't overlook him because that's the center. Because where will you go? Somebody literally asked me that. They said, how do you stay on the pathway when you know what they do when you stand up for Malachi? You know they're going to come for you. I said, there's nowhere else to go. You have to be able to show me where else I could go. I've looked. That was a part of my walk. I looked in the NOI. They don't know where to go. I looked in the Hebrew Israelites. You seen one of them come on here. Their troopers don't even know how to fight. I looked over in the Moors. I'm a Moorish Science Temple of America graduate. All right. They don't know where to go. I looked over with all the other nationals because it's not just Moors. OK, with the sovereigns. They don't know where to go. I looked over with the Masons. I walked as a Mason. I became an Into the Printers at 16 years old and took the walk. All right. Achieved many degrees on and off paper. They don't know where to go. I looked with Christianity. I was around the Christians, praying with the Christians at the Christian church. They had a church on Venetian Hill, St. Peter's. I used to go there all the time. I've been with the Christians. They don't know where to go. I sat and prayed, or I prostrated with the Muslims. All right. I took Shahada. I walked with them. Surat al-Mustaqim. They don't know where to go. And they have Surat al-Mustaqim. They have Deen, and they still don't know where to go. I've been all over this playing field. Listen. And nobody knows where to go. I've been in politics. I've been around the pro-black. I've been around the people saying we got to vote. I've been around the people talking about some this, that, and the Thursday. And listen, came Saturday, they still didn't know where to go. I've been all around this place. And I'm showing y'all in real time, they don't know where to go, because when I give them the opportunity to come and show me that they know where to go, what do? They do this. I'm like, here, go right here. Give me 6 months. I don't have my receipts. I'm just going to block you. I'm going to kill you. It's right here. They don't know where to go. So you have to be able to show me, where else is there? We already know who the true light is. And if you can see the true light in him, what makes you think you're not going to be able to access the true light in you? But you denying him and you think you're going to get farther. I don't think you heard me, so I'm going to say it slow. You deny Isa and you think you're going to get to the Father. You think you're going to expand. You think you're going to grow. You have to still go through the center to do that. And in order to go through the center is to respect the center, to understand no one has done this. All right. So let's test his story. And we're going to see what the answer is to the question of part in who. OK, who do you have part in? Do you have part in Shaitan? Do you have part in God? Who do you have part in? And who will be parting? Who will be departing? What part in this story are you? Who are you in this part? Part in who? Are you with me? Asa is his name. Dr. Melakazi York. His name is Asa. And he is literally Isa el-Maryam. How do you know that? Because his mother's name is Mary. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And Asa means Jesus. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And you see me sitting here. So this is Isa el-Maryam, not saying this is Isa or Jesus, the son of God. I'm just saying, just based off of the name alone, this is Isa el-Maryam. And he walked through Islam. He walked through Christianity. He walked through, what else? Judaism. Okay? He walked through all of what you refer to as the main 3 degrees. Okay, or the biggest Abrahamic religions, Mosesism, all right, Mohammedism and Christism. He surpassed all of those. You understand that? And you look at all these teachers out here, and they have yet to surpass them. But he did. He already beat the 3 degrees. He was able to break down the house of Abraham. And he was able to build it up again, listen, in the true message that is referred to as Nuwupu or Nuwapu. The sacred message that had been lost for so long, okay, that translates so many different ways that when people like Rashad Jamal say Nuwapian is a name he made up for the group he had, that's not true. That nigga's a liar. Nuwabu, the 3-part root, which if you say 3-part root to somebody like Rashad Jamal, they head gonna spin. They gonna think you talking about something that's up under a plant. Okay? Nuwubu has been around. That is an ancient Egyptian word. As a matter of fact, a lot of your words that you think are just Hebrew words or Arabic words, they come from ancient Egypt. You understand that? They come from the hieroglyphs. A lot of these words come from cuneiform, which was a language that was streaming after that, where you had different people saying, even to this day, that's not a human language. That language came from off planet. And the people that were referred to as the Sumerians or the black-headed people talked about Anunnaki, or people who came from off planet. The people who were the ancient Egyptians talked about Neteru, or people who were not from Earth. Tahuti is not said to be from Earth. People were coming from off planet to establish what was referred to as a home away from home on this planet, to build something that was similar to what they were used to when they were in whatever planet or whatever star system or galaxy they were in. They built something similar here. They brought their technology here. They brought their languages here. And here you have it. A lot of languages that have come since then. All right. Ever since that Tower of Babel, which I showed y'all, this is the Tower of Babel. They don't want to tell y'all. The towers of Babel are still in Egypt right now. These are the towers, the pyramids. After they came down, whoever these guys were, and caused confusion, okay, and split everybody up like they showed you in the, what do you call it? The Georgia Guidestones, okay? In the Georgia Guidestones, or on the Georgia Guidestones, which they told y'all was evil because these people are not in tune. They don't know what's going on, and they don't know what they're talking about. Isis Wisdom didn't know what they were talking about. Rail Chosen didn't. He down there don't know what he's talking about. No, none of these people know what they're speaking on because they all running with whatever mainstream media is talking about. They're not in tune with the censor, because if they were, they would be able to tell you things before they come. They wouldn't just be responding to things that happen, and then they wouldn't be responding to things that happen and be responding from the fear-based standpoint. Because if you got that pen, what's the point of you being afraid? If something don't seem right, you just rewrite it. You understand that? You exit out and you write it again. Watch. Okay, I'm going to just do it again. I'm going to make sure all these is capital. See? It's not hard. Because you have the pen. Georgia Guidestones. First of all, this shit said Georgia Guidestones. And somehow you thought it was evil. It was a pyramid. You didn't know it was a pyramid. You didn't know because you didn't look into it. You didn't even see the story of it. It was a pyramid. All these different four little blocks that they had was topped by something they called a capstone. Go look it up. And on the capstone said what? Something about an age of, pay attention, reason. Age of reason. Sound right reasoning. Okay, everybody had the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding. Dr. Melchizedek said, okay, here goes the right knowledge, the right wisdom, the right overstanding, and then you needed the sound and right reasoning, or sound right reasoning, or sound right reasoning. You understand that? So this was the capstone. Go look it up. And these were the four corners of the earth, or the heart, which I already explained to y'all is the pyramid, correct? And they destroyed one. And you had people like Isis Wisdom lying, saying that the galactic ancestors came through with a plasmic weapon and shot some stones up to get back at the Illuminati. I told y'all and that lady, I could think of a million other places on planet that these galactic ass ancestors could have come through and stricken or laid waste to if they wanted to make a statement to so-called Illuminati. But somehow they just took a likening to some type of message or allegory that they found in a park somewhere. They ain't worth a damn. Tell them I said that. Tell them, hell no, that ain't gonna fly. You understand that? No, I slowed that video down frame by frame. That was an explosion. And then she said it was a blue weapon. She said, you see that? That was the blue beam right there. That was the blue beam. No, the fuck it wasn't. There was already a blue light out there. There was already a blue light. Some of y'all got to go back and watch the video again to see how easy it is to dupe people. There was already a blue light out there. And then when the explosion occurred, the blue light got lighter. And she said, oh, a blue beam. And these are people that y'all are saying are divinely aligned and layered and coded and genetically chosen. Y'all have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. You have been ran amok. All over again, with all the technology, with all the knowledge, with all the wisdom, with all the spirituality, they still don't want to stand right there and what? In that center with me. They all run. I offer Isis Wisdom in 2021. I offer Isis Wisdom $100 to go live to talk about some of the things she was talking about. She said she was going to get back with me. Never got back with me. I was offering people money to go live with them. I wasn't saying, hey, can you pay me? I ain't had nothing but 20,000 followers. I said, I will pay you to come on and talk. When I told Rod Hayes, I said, I would like to come on and go live with you and talk about some of these things you're speaking on. That man told me he was going offline because the next day the Kings was walking the earth. It was over. Everything was said and done. The nigga was on live the very next AM. It wasn't he went live. I was still asleep. By the time I woke up, had an epiphany, that nigga had been live 7 times. I said, I have been bamboozled, hoodwinked, ran them up. Who taught you to hate yourself? It's been all over again. Rod Hayes has made so many prophecies, and y'all keep letting these niggas do that. Can you tell me one prophecy Just one of them. One arm. One arm. Can you just tell me one of them prophecies? Just one of them. Can you just tell me one of them? Can you just tell me one of them prophecies that uncame true? Just one. But these people had y'all afraid of some stones. They said, oh, they're doing this for population control because they couldn't read. The 10 principles were on there. You could just read them. And a part of the principles was saying they wanted to unify the language. They wanted to bring people together on one language, on one tone. Everybody get back into Nuwapu. Everybody come right back to the center where you lost your way. You got to come back. In the Black Book by Dr. Malachi York, he starts it off by saying he wants to bring, he said, come, let's go down and unite their tongues because they've been confused. In this very book right here, the Holy Bible, okay? In this very book, they explain in the book of Genesis chapter 11, that God, whoever those guys were, came down and confused everybody and separated people. And y'all talking about we out here and we want division because we're attempting to bring you back to the center. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 idols along the way. Just come back to the center. Come back to the heart. Home, which is what you've been looking for, Dorothy, is where the heart is. It's right there. So stay with me. All right. So Dr. Malachi York has already exemplified what it means to be a Messiah. He already exemplified what it meant to be Son of Righteousness. He already exemplified what it meant to be Sound of Many Waters. He already exemplified what it meant to be an angel. Even if the name itself is a giveaway, the name means my angel, meaning an angel that was sent to you. So what are y'all going to do? You have Isa right now. He's not asking you to worship him. He said, stand up. I am one of your fellow servants. Remember? You have Isa right now, not Paul's Isa. You have Isa right now, not the Roman Catholics Isa. You have Isa right now who came through and did everything they said Isa would be able to do and more. You have Isa right now who is living. And where is Isa? Let's find him. And so, there was a man, and his name was called Jonas. Y'all remember Jonas? Jonas was a cool dude. Jonas ain't want no problems. Jonas just wanted to get what he had to do done. He was burdened along the way. And Jonas wound up on a ship on the way to do his mission, right? And there was people on the ship, they doing their thing, they thugging, right? And, you know, everything was cool. And here go Jonas, he chilling. But then, thunder, lightning, flash, all that, right? They were like, bro, we ain't never had no thunderstorm and lightning happen before. Who the fuck? It must be you. So they like, bro, who is you? Right? So they start pointing at his head, who is you? And he was like, hey, check this out. I already know what y'all niggas finna be on. Just throw me overboard, bro. So they threw his ass overboard, blah, 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 right? So he started swimming with the fish, literally. They let him live, though. But then here came a big-ass submarine. What? I don't remember that part of the story. Just be quiet. Big-ass submarine. And it had the word Yenin on it. Don't worry about that. You'll learn about it later, okay? So a big-ass submarine came through. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all thought it was a fish? Okay, you may not understand about how the digestive system works. If you're swallowed, the acids, your oxygen, you don't have anymore. You're running out. All you emitting is carbon dioxide. No oxygen is getting through, and you're underwater. Ain't nothing holding no oxygen. We are not in kindergarten. It was a submarine. Anyway, because there was someone who drove that submarine too, by the way, and his name was El Qadir. And El Qadir, all right, controlled the seas. And you go look up El Qadir, go look it up. El Qadir. And El Qadir rode on what they call Nin, which was a fish. Go look it up. And you'll see this man riding around on the fish. Now, let me ask y'all a question, because we're not in kindergarten no more, right? Okay, do you think a nigga was literally sitting his ass on top of a fish? The nigga tired of hell, talking about some damn. The nigga tired of hell, talking about some damn. And he just been riding around on top of the water, right? He don't need to be in it. He just riding around on top. It was a fucking submarine. If you understood, technology isn't new. Anyway, so blah, 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 and shit like that. And then they were like, okay, we got you. We already know who you is. We was expecting you. So they basically were like, you know what I'm saying, and one. So they took him into the submarine. And then, you know, he went on and did his shit. And interestingly enough, the location of question in that whole story is called Nineveh, right? And you look up these words and you split them, okay? You have Nina, okay? Or Ninu in some context, but you have Nin, all right? And then you have Ve. Ve means to carry. Go look it up. Ve means to carry some shit, all right? And Nin means a fish. So Nineveh tells you that El-Qadir was involved, okay? Because somebody was carried by a fish. And guess who that somebody was? El-Qadir. Go look it up. So y'all don't think I'm just saying stuff. It's all over the place. You have to bring it back to the center, all right? So Jonas ended up traveling with El-Qadir so that he could finish his mission. And he was saved. That's why they say God saved him. The God that they're talking about is El-Qadir. And there are more than one God. There is more than one God in these stories. From the Bible to El-Quran. Okay, go read Surah 18. I think it was called El-Kahf. And you'll learn about the one that Musa had to go and meet with. Okay, who is referred to El-Qadir. Also sometimes referred to as Melchizedek. What? Melchizedek. Oh, El-Qadir's other name is Melchizedek. Yes. So what is Dr. Melchizedek's middle name? Get out of here. Does Z stand for Zoduk? Yes, it does. And your tone, okay, still may be dwelling in the ancient time. So you may not even be able to understand that when you're saying Melchi Zoduk, you're saying Melchi Sadek. Go look it up. And when you're saying Melchi Sadek, guess what else you're saying? Melchizedek, as some of y'all say. All right, with the lazy tongue. It's Melchizedek. All right, and again, all of that leads you to El-Qadir. And El-Qadir is the green one. So let me see if I can find an image for you real quick. All right. Let's see. I could have pulled that one up, but it had a title on it. So give me a second. Matter of fact, I don't want to scroll all the way through there. All right, look at this image right here. All right. You see that light that ET is holding? What color is it? Okay. You see how it's green, right? All right, check this out. El-Qadir means what? Green, or the green one. Go look it up. The green one. So what's the point here? When Dr. Melchizedek would appear, the light that he would be surrounded by was what light? The green light. So are we so far matching up Melchizedek's story? Is it making sense? Or has he made all these things up? Did he name himself? All right. Did he name his mother? So the question y'all have is, are you going to bear witness now? All right. Are y'all going to scream free everybody? Are y'all going to ask for everybody? Are y'all going to demand that the prisoners or Pilate give you everybody other than Isa once again? Are you going to miss the story? Are you going to think he's on the cross and you don't know where he is? When he appears in the upper room, where will you be? Are you going to not be around when he departs? Are you going to be of the ones who depart with him? Now, listen, I can't give you any of these answers. Okay? As far as you know, I could just be making stuff up. But you have to pay attention for yourself to see how many of these things are lying. All right? And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. Okay? So let's look at this image right here. You see how that green light is around him? You see that image behind him? That image of the craft? That image has been consistent his whole entire walk. He had that craft behind him when he was in Islam. Don't let these niggas who don't know shit tell you he was a Muslim. Oh, so he was a Muslim. In Islam, he was saying that the Sunnis didn't know what they were talking about. That when you speak about angels, you're speaking about what? Extraterrestrials. When it was Rabboni Yeshua, he had the craft behind him. When it was Dr. Melchizedek, or Reverend Dr. Melchizedek, he had the craft behind him. Even in Nuwapu, as Afarti Atumre, he had the craft behind him. It has yet to fail that he kept that craft right there to remind you all the way through, and then look at this thing that they decided to make into a movie. And you don't think they're watching? You don't think they know? They're copying him. That's why E.T. is brown skinned. You go watch The Man Who Fell to Earth. They're copying him. They're copying him. 2030, Agenda 2030. You would not know what that is if it were not for Malachi Zoduck York. What is wrong? He gave the scientists cues on how to be prepared for 2030. And they're just now finding out that not only are there extraterrestrial existential threats, there are planetary existential threats that align with what he referred to as, watch, and keep watch, the seven thunders. Now, why is this important? It's important because in the book of Revelation, when they talked about the seven thunders, they told John, don't write them down. They told Yochanan, don't write them down. Why am I saying Yochanan? Because Yochanan is just the Hebrew way of saying John. They said, do not write these down, what the seven thunders have uttered. Seal them up. So you had that sealed and everything else you were able to hear, except for that which was in that little book, by the way, which came later as your El Quran. All right, that's Revelation chapter 10, verse 4. You go read that. Okay? So the seven thunders ain't known to anybody. Ask any of the Hebrew Israelites, what are the seven thunders? Tell us. And if they read their book, they'll be smart, right? Because in the book of Revelation chapter 22, verse 18 through 19, it says, don't add shit, don't take shit away. Because if you add some shit and your book of, what do you say? If you take some away, your name be removed out of the book of life. It was threats. It was some real deal threats. Go read it. So you'll just take my word for it. But they said, don't add shit, don't take nothing away from that book. From what book? The book called Revelation. People think they talking about the whole Bible. They're not. Because in the year 96 Common Era, okay, that's when Revelation was supposed to have come through. All right, meaning when they finally said, okay, this is the book. So look at how all this came about. They said, don't take anything out, don't add anything onto it. The only way you could know what those seven thunders were is if you're one of the angels, or you're telling me that John is still around here living. Unless you're telling me John is Malachi, okay, then he would have had to been one of the angels. Now, Dr. Malachi York did say he was there when they were giving the revelation to John. But his name wasn't John. His name was Yochanan. He said he was there. Now, here's the key point. We can't believe what this nigga say. We got to test everything this nigga say. He ain't exempt. You think he's special? You think just because he say some shit that we supposed to believe what he say? No, we got to test what this nigga say. So I promise you, it been so long ago that the ones who were referred to as the Ansari or the Ansarullah community, they may have forgotten what he was saying about 2030 or how long ago he was saying that shit in the 60s and 70s, right? When he said that there was going to be a 60-year plan called the hour. Because how many minutes in an hour? 60. And he said every year would be the minute. Okay? 1 year equals 1 minute. So from the year 1970 to the year 2000 was the first 30 minutes. All right? Go look up Dr. York, Man of the Hour. So again, y'all know I'm not making anything up. And before I came on this live, I said, please don't let anything but the truth come through me. Okay? So you're going to see how it all connects right there in the center. 1970 to 2000, 30 minutes. Right? From the year 2000 to the year what? 2030 will be another 30 minutes. How many people can count? I can. That's 60 minutes. That's an hour. And I have documented evidence of this man saying this shit multiple times in books, in his teachings, and all of that. So again, let's bring it all back around. When people are saying stuff like, I'm not a Nuwabian, all right, they're showing you they don't know what they're talking about. Because if you're saying you're a Nubian, then you're saying you're a Nuwabian, right? When people are saying stuff like they're Anunnaki God or one of the 23 elders, and they don't know how to list the names, and they can't tell you word by word what the story is and explain. Don't just say everything happened and then carbon got here, all right, because you don't know any other elements other than carbon, all right? You wouldn't know helium if it smiled at you, okay? Just because of something that they're pushing out and they're saying, you know, this is that. Don't believe it. You make them tell you the rest. And you got a nigga out here saying, I'm one of the 23 elders, which he got from the Holy Tablets. He got it from Malachi York. I showed y'all that. He said, no, I know the difference between 23 and 24. You clearly don't think that people can go and pull up a page anymore. You think that shit don't exist. You think everybody walking around with no arms. Because we can pull up the fucking page and show y'all where Pops literally talked about not just the 23 elders. He talked about the 25 seats. Okay, because you have to have one seat here, one seat here, one seat here, one seat here. And if each of these seats have a value, then you have a 6 here and a 6 here and a 6 here and a 6 here. What's the point? You have 12, 24, 25. Did I miss anybody? The pyramid. You don't know what you're talking about. Y'all are going around not understanding the esoteric and exoteric. First of all, you're not one of the 23 elders. We tested you. We don't know you. Second of all, you wouldn't know what it actually means. You think we're talking about 23 old people that were people who created the cosmos. You don't understand that we speak in code. Everything leads to the pyramid, silly. Everything leads to the mountain. Everything leads to the center, the heart, pyramid. So you go and read the book of Revelation chapter 5 and you'll see what I'm saying. Revelation chapter 5. Okay, so let's get back to this hour. Let's read the book of Revelation chapter 8. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Revelation 8. Right? We got Revelation. Let's see. Chapter 8. We got the book of John coming through. We doing this thing. Da, 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 da. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Here we are. When he opened the seventh seal, which Dr. Malachi York is accredited to opening the seventh seal, by the way. If you don't know, now you know, nigga. All right. When he opened, let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. All right? This shit is beautiful. What did it say, y'all? There was silence in heaven for about half an hour. From 1970 to 2000, he told everybody, we're opening the seventh seal. I'm not lying. I wish I could make this shit up because then I wouldn't have the responsibility of knowing what I know. But I can't make this up. Y'all are making a mistake. Y'all are the children, the descendants of people who said crucify him. And you're given another opportunity. And people are making a grand mistake in real time. And I don't have anything to do with it. 1970 to 2000, he said we're opening the seventh seal. Go look it up. When you see Dr. Malachi York holding that, what do you call it? Scroll with the eyes on it. Right? That's the seven seals. Okay? So he said we'll be opening the seventh seal. And he said from the year 2000 to the year 2030, there will be no guidance. Y'all, look out here. Has anybody been able to step up and say, I am actually surpassed Malachi? Remember the dummies who come on here and do it? And I'd be like, prove it. And it don't take nothing but 30 seconds to show y'all that it don't even take 30 seconds to show y'all they're lying. No one No one has surpassed him. He has been the only one who has spoken the truth this far. I tested him. Do you think it not, my children? Do you think it not, my children, that I would have rather been in Hawaii somewhere chilling? I would have went to Hawaii and chilled. If I could have found one thing this nigga said that didn't happen, I would have said, that ain't right. That ain't true. And I would have went and chilled in Hawaii. But listen, everything this man, listen. Now, when you listen, here's what I need you to do. I need you to see an image of me, and I need you to move me out of the way, and you need to see black. Listen. This man is who he says he is. I given all the opportunities for them to prove me wrong. They are afraid of me. They don't even want to talk to the messenger of the messenger. They don't want to even come and speak to the enforcer. Which that's who you could call me, the enforcer. They don't want to talk to the enforcer. What make you think they want to stand face to face with the reformer? He is who he says he is. Now watch this. Some of y'all gonna get smart, right? Because y'all think y'all math geeks. You'll be like, now hold on now, Faise. I'm gonna be like, what's up? That says 30 minutes. This says 30 minutes. But what you just read said about half an hour. I said exactly. I'm glad you said that. Let me tell you why I'm happy that you said that. Because I thought you never would, but then you did. And now I'm very happy. I'm super happy. Because 2002 is when they locked him up. So it has been silent out here for about half an hour. And that half an hour is almost up. And that is the year 2030. Y'all, he talked about this shit, this whole thing, 50 years ago. I don't think y'all can understand what I'm saying. 50 years ago, he told these people about 2030. He wrote books like The Science of Creation that answered questions that these scientists done had for decades before he arrived. He figured things out in Islam while he was teaching Islam that the scientists didn't know anything about, especially when it comes to things like ether and nothingness and Allah and what's after helium and subatomic part. He knew all of that. They're just now finding it out and putting their own words to it to make you think that they made it up or they figured it out. Y'all, the Holy Tablets books, it's the first few pages, you'll know this is a science man. He's not a religious man. He's a science man. He is Faraday out of the TV show Man Who Fell to Earth. And he's Thomas Newton. And you go and watch that show, and you'll see one of the characters with their hair like this. Right? This is the character, and here go their hair. It's a man. I had to let you know that. You're like, what? Yanun. Hair like Yanun. All of it lines up. We're not even done, y'all. We just getting started. So, for half an hour, it's been quiet. Dr. Malachi York said there will be no guidance after the year 2000. After Y2K, all right? After Y2K, everybody will be clueless. There will be no guidance. That will be the hereafter. We're already in it. We're in it. And time is running out. He always said, keep your eye on that cloak of destiny, which meant keep your eye on that clock of destiny. That's the AEO science, ancient Egyptian order science. All right? Not everybody knows that. When that song, Only a Dream, he said, hold back the clock. He is your time frame. That's why we say man of the hour. And he's been called the man of the hour since before I was born. Are y'all with me? Go get your leaders. Go get them. Go get Captain Tazariak. Go get 19 Keys. Go get Young Pharaoh. Go get these people who are supposed to be leading the chosen and tell them, come see about me. And I'm telling you, they're not going to want to, not because of me, because of Malachi. They don't hate me. They hate the man I represent. They ain't even scared of me. They scared of who they see behind me. They scared of what they feel because they can't even see him. He in the world, they haven't obtained him. They don't even know who he is. They are afraid of that comes through. And they say, well, who do you think you are? I say, that is irrelevant. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. Let me speak to you about my brother, Malachi. I ain't nothing but the one who come through as a harbinger or a harbinger and says, listen, I just want to give you this message. You have been forewarned. You have been forewarned. I just want to give you this message. You had Noble Drew Ali. Okay. You had Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay. You had and have Malachi York. And here I am standing here saying, you have been forewarned now. This is your fourth warning. This man is real. He's true. And you're running out of time. And all of y'all are playing like time is going to wait on you to figure it out. It's not going to wait on you. So let's ask this question. So we already figured out about the time frame, right? I showed y'all that. And you can't make this stuff up. Y'all know that, right? This is real. This is real. All of it's real. Okay? You have to understand it so you'll know where to go. In The Man Who Fell to Earth, they talk a lot about bees. Y'all need to watch Man Who Fell to Earth, the TV series. If you ain't watching it, you ain't gonna understand. Okay? Even in The Man Who Fell to Earth TV show, okay, when Faraday spoke and said he needed to be taken to somebody, he said, take me to the Wizard of Risk. I'm not lying. You have to go watch it to make me a truth teller. He said, take me to the Wizard of Risk. Remember, they called Malachi York crazy because he was talking about Planet Risk. Planet Risk. They said, oh, he just made something up because they weren't linguists. They didn't study Arabia. They didn't study. If they would have studied, they would have known, first of all, he wasn't saying anything that Isa, Jesus, didn't say about a place that would be provided for certain people. Okay? Risk means to provide or provision. Are you with me? So when he said he was from the 19th galaxy, that 19 is El Quran. That's the science in El Quran. Okay? When he said he was from Ilion or Ilion, okay? You find it like that, Ilion or Ilion. All right? And he spelled it Illiywun. When he said he was from Ilion, he didn't make that up. That just means above, the highest abode. He was from above. He not saying anything Isa, Jesus didn't say. He not saying anything Yahweh Shah didn't say. He's saying everything this man said. And he was showing you things that hadn't been shown before. And you want to know what he said? He said, Noble Drew Ali, everything that he taught has been taught. There's nothing more. Anything that the people who follow Noble Drew Ali, all the Moors, all of y'all have to admit, if you're speaking the truth, that school has been taught. It's over. Everybody who follow Yahweh ben Yahweh, that school is over. Even though you can't even really accredit him to anything because he was just teaching from the Bible. That school is over. Okay? Hebrew Israelites, your doctrine has been taught. Okay? All of the nation of gods on earth, your doctrine has been taught. Clarence 13X, Clarence 37X, he came through, he taught. That's done. Okay? And Farrakhan doesn't have a doctrine. Honorable Elijah Muhammad, everything he came to teach, that's over with. When Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, some of y'all say he's still alive, right? Okay? Then that means you should be able to contact him and speak to him and ask him about what's new. What is Allah saying now? What are some of the new degrees now? What is Allah saying about what's happening with the technology, everything else that he didn't have the awareness of when the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was coming through as a speaker or a messenger? That doctrine is done. The NOI don't have any new doctrine. It's been taught. And when Dr. Malachi York was around them, teaching them, they didn't want to admit and see that even then in the 70s and the 80s, he was teaching things that were far beyond what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad brought. And the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told them to expect who that would be, the one who came bearing the symbol of Lamb. All right. So you got to know this is a very important year because it's been 23 years. And that's the 23rd letter of Lamb in Arabic. OK, which is that letter that gives you this. All right. That symbol of the shepherd's tool. Please pay attention so you don't think nothing's being switched. I put this in the books. I've been teaching y'all this for years. And now we walking right up on it and you seeing people ask for Barabbas. You seeing people, it's happening. The story is happening in real time. Okay. So in the TV show, Man Who Fell to Earth, he said, take me to the Wizard of Risk. They did it like that so that y'all wouldn't understand. Okay. Only those who would know, but they copying straight from him. And they talking to one another. And it's like a tongue-in-cheek effect because they know what they're doing. The Wizard of Risk is Dr. Malachi York. The Wizard of Risk is Murdoch, as you call him. The Wizard of Risk is the one who they're referring to as Imam Isa. Whatever name you want to call it, he is that wizard. He is that wise one. And he didn't make this up. So now you have it where the mothership and everything he was talking about, they saying is real. Okay, the Gaia channel is based off of him. They making movies and TV shows based off of him. Like the movie Knowing, they made it based off of him and his images and his teachings of the Etherians and all of that. Okay, so again, there was a man and his name was Jonas. And Dr. Malachi Z. York has a teaching on YouTube and it's called Join Us. Go look it up. It's called Join Us. You say, is that it? No, that's not it. Because in the book of Matthew, all right, in Matthew, what was it, 1240 or 1241? I think it's 1240. Matthew 1240. All right, you go look that up. It was saying that the same way Jonas, what happened to Jonas? He was in that well, as they call it, a Nin, or that submarine for how many days? 3 days. Okay, pay attention to this number 3. They said, so shall what? The Son of Man. So shall the Son of Man be. But they would say instead of the belly of the beast as the well, they said he would be in what? The heart of the earth. We're going to see if that prophecy is happening. The heart of the earth, which is just an anagram. For how long? For 3 days and 3 nights. It's an extended period of time. And I want you to pay attention again to that number 3. So let's look at it. Where is Malachi York? He is in Colorado, according to what is being said. Colorado, right? But not just Colorado. Where? Florence. Let's put this word here. Florence. All right? So what does Colorado mean? Literally, it means the color red. You can see it in the word, Colorado. Color red. You'll also find where it says reddish. Okay, go look that up. Test me. Florence means what? Flower. Even though you may find it in a verb form, I want to make sure I highlight that. It's still true. Okay, it means flower. So what is the red flower? The red flower is a fire. Okay, I think that was the Jungle Book movie. Mowgli, some other shit. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But they talk about the red flower. All right. That is a fire. Okay. So not only is he in Colorado, Florence, there's another 3 letters you need to pay attention to, and I'll show you something. A-D-X. 1, hold on. 1, 4, 10. Why I say 10? Because this is Roman numeral 10. So you have 1, 4, and 10. What's 14 plus 10? I don't know. Let's figure it out. 14 plus 10 equals 24. Why is that important though? Because 6, 6, 6, 6, that gives you 24 as a value. There's a movie called Golden Child. And in the movie, they had the chosen one, or the golden one, which are one and the same, sitting in the center in a cage. And they surrounded him by evil on all four corners. 6, 6, 6, 6. Why are you saying 6? Because 6 is speaking about the forces of evil. Or 6 ether. Are you with me? 24. So we have Colorado, Florence. Colorado, color red flower, red fire. Fire in the what? Fire in the what? Fire in the what? Fire in the pyramid. Pira equals fire. Mid means center. Go, look it up. Fire in the center. Fire in the center. The golden child. Golden sun. Solar. Sun disk in the center of a 4-cornered pyramid. And they're trying to surround him to keep him trapped. Same story as Marduk. Same story as Murdoch. Are y'all with me? So, ADX, Colorado, Florence, red fire, fire in the center, pyramid, red flower, golden child, a man in the center, that's the sun, solar system, soul in the center, pyramid, fire in the middle. He's in the heart, which is the pyramid, because the, what? Okay, remember the images of Jesus? When he was pointing to his heart? What was going on with that heart? Y'all remember? It was on fire. Go look it up. Nobody's teaching. Nobody's teaching out here, y'all. They just talking. They can't connect the dots because they're trying to overlook the center. How you gonna have a picture? It all leads back to him, which means it all leads back where? To him. Home. And home is where you can't make this up. Are you crazy? Is you crazy? Is you crazy? Is you crazy? Crazy. Is you crazy? Is you crazy? Nigga. Is you crazy? Nigga crazy. Is you crazy? Whoa, is you crazy? Nigga, is you crazy? Nigga crazy. Come on, like, is you crazy? I can't make this up. Y'all think I'm rehearsing this shit? This shit flow. It flow. It flow. Because they got to be out their motherfucking mind. For me to be able to see this shit, and even to myself, I got the 19 keys. No, the fuck you don't, Jabril. Sit your crazy ass down. You got to be crazy. You got to be out your mind and go on Breakfast Club talking about, so we need to build Black Wall Street again. We already did that. Y'all trying to bounce over that shit like it didn't happen. Be niggas named Jabril. It happened, nigga. And y'all letting it be and making it be that people are losing time because y'all say shit like, and that'd be 19 kids say, we don't need leaders. He trying to be the fucking leader. And they leading y'all nowhere but to his bank account. That's all y'all gonna be able to go with, Jabril. That's it. That's where he come from. All he talk is money. That's why he think being a God has something to do with whether or not you can subscribe to a fiat system and then say he's higher level. Gods make their own money. Show me something that's a real spectacle. Create a whole different currency system that don't have anything to do with this government or any money or digital, none of that. Do some shit that they can't say they doing too. Then I'll be like, this motherfucker might be one of them ones. Other than that, nigga, you just trying to learn whatever the next new wave of fucking currency is. You ain't nothing but another one of the grifters. And you're going to get your money. But you don't care absolutely anything about the soul. Why? Because they have soul doubt. They have soul out. They have sold out. They doubt the center. They doubt the soul. I don't doubt the soul because the soul said, don't believe me, check it out. And I went and checked it out, and that shit checks in. It checks off. It check up. It check every motherfucking where. It check in every direction. Want to know what happened when you do a check in every direction? That shit checks in every direction. They got to be out there rabbit ass mind. So, we found him. He's in the heart of the earth, right? Home is where the heart is. Colorado, fire in the middle. Pyramid. Are y'all getting it? Are y'all with me? Surrounded on all four sides. So then we found out that the fire in the earth or fire in the center means pyramid. If I'm lying, I'm flying. When you fly your ass over Colorado, the prison, this is what you see. Please go make me a truth teller. This is what you see. This is their design. Can somebody tell me what that is? The three great pyramids. Go look it up. You fly over Colorado, that's what you see. I'm not talking about you got to squint. I'm saying you literally see that. I don't know if y'all understand. I'm not saying you have to like make it out. Like, okay, I can see. I get where you get that from. No, you literally see three pyramids. Anyway, so okay. Well, there's a story of the one called Marduk. Marduk. And Marduk was trapped in a pyramid's capstone. He was trapped. Until Anu had to come through and free him. But why was Marduk trapped? According to the stories I was given, Marduk was framed, y'all. He was framed for something he didn't do. In the story, he was framed for something he didn't do. And you think that's the end of it, right? You think I'm just making a text to self connection to world shit. You think I'm doing that? You think that? You thinking that? No. One of Malachi's names is Murdoch. Please go look it up. You type it in that way, you'll find him. One of his names is Murdoch. He was named that before this situation. And then he ended up three pyramids, 300 feet underground. 300 feet underground. Three pyramids. Are y'all with me? Now, then they said, we know what to do. And they came out with a movie called Dark City. And guess who the main character was in the movie? It was somebody named Murdoch. Please don't believe me. Check it out. His name was Murdoch in the movie. And you want to know what they were trying to do to Murdoch? Because he wouldn't sleep like everybody the fuck else. And he stayed up and he could tune and he used his mind's eye to create new realities. You want to know what they were trying to do to him? They were trying to frame him. They were trying to frame him. I'm not making this up. Everything I'm telling you checks out. So, Marduk, Malachi Zadok, Melchizedek. Well, is it clear yet who we dealing with and what day and time we're in and why they wanted y'all to think he was guilty? Another thing, He always said this. He always said this, which made me happy as a child because it let me know this has something to do with me. I'm 4 years old sitting next to the speaker listening. He used to say, it's about the children. It's all about the children. He said, those are the ones who are going to be called the 144,000. He said, and y'all have to not be selfish, thinking you ain't going to make it or you got time, and bring your children to learn. And my parents listened. And I'm telling y'all, I'm one of those children. And I never let go of the rope. Meaning, I never let go of the rope. Here go the rope. Meaning, I never let go of that DNA activation. I never let go of Nwupu, the message. I never let go. So if you let go, then you'll drift. And you'll no longer have a definiteness of purpose. You'll no longer be centered. I never let go. You got people who left Nwupu. Nigga named Otmos York, one of Pop's sons, said he's a 5%er now. When he was trying to be around the Sabaeans and everything, learning from the Sabaeans, he was saying the language, Rahube. I got messages to prove that. Inviting me to the events and all of that because he saw that I was rocking with Pops. But then he started to shift it when he wanted the glory. And then he started to list everybody else as his teachers, the Dr. Benz and everybody else, and then said that he was a 5%er. How do you go backwards from Nwupu to 5%er? You with me? How do you go backwards when 5%ers didn't want it with the Nwapians? How do you travel backwards? Well, they let go of the rope. And when that rope was severed, they drifted. And the gravitational pull of truth is giving everybody the opportunity to find their way back to what? The core, which means heart. Or the core. And you want to know what you got when you say core? You got kare, kare, kare. And what is kare? The spirit of God. Ka is spirit, and re is God, spirit of God, or the spirit of the God Son, or spirit of the Son God, or spirit of the Son. You got to be of the Son. Kare, which gives you care. And he said you have to learn to care. What organ comes to mind when you think of caring? The heart. You got to learn to care. And the only way you can learn to care is if you're in tune with the core. The only way you can be in tune with the core is if you got the spirit of Re, or spirit of Ra moving through you. And the only way you got the spirit of Ra moving through you is if you care. The only way you can care is if you understand that. You'll stay centered. You have to show me where else there is to go. There is nowhere else to go. Your planet is lost. These people are zombies. We've seen this before. And it ain't but so long. A zombie world yields zombie leaders, zombie habits, zombie civilizations. And zombies are contagious. It's going to spread. That's why this plane has to be quarantined. You can't go anywhere with whatever this bug is that's in you. This genetic defect, that's what the bug is. This genetic defect. You can't go other places, other planets, and infest them and further upset the divine order of things, the natural order of things. No, you're under watch. These beings are not vicious. They're not senseless. They're not ruthless. They're giving you the opportunity to find your way home and prove from the inside out, outside in, that you are worthy of ascension, transformation. And the ascension that y'all are talking about, a lot of y'all want to keep it spiritual because you don't want to deal with, no matter how far you go back. Here goes the planet. And from outside of the planet, they came. Meaning, eventually, those people will leave again. or they will be parting. They will be parting. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to leave. And one of the messages Dr. Malachi York sent out on December 31st, 2024, right before the purple light came in, what did he say? He said, I am going home. You watch the man who fell to earth, and what did Faraday say? I'm going home. You watch the movie E.T., what was that nigga talking about? Going where? Home. All right? Faraday was able to activate the ship that looked just like this. Go watch the show. Like a pyramid. And he was able to take off like the bees do. And they said pay attention to them bees. That's why I told y'all, don't them bees just fly right up on you now? They fly right up on you. They don't ask permission. They don't check. They don't none of that. They fly right up on you now. Pay attention if they flying up on you. You may be one of us. Because bees are in tune with I'll tell y'all in a second. Bees are in tune with electromagnetic waves. And bees can see beyond violet. So if your aura is picking up to a certain frequency, you will draw in bees. Don't believe me. Just pay attention. You'll draw in bees. And they will, here go your face. They will fly right up like this. And you have to understand, it can be uncomfortable. Don't fret. Don't even worry. Because they got eyes on you. If the bees are coming up to you like that, all right, then your glow may be higher than purple. You want to know what's going to help you? Keep increasing that. Some of y'all may want it. Some of y'all may not want it. Fasting. Fasting is going to help your genes activate. Fasting is going to give your body time to get rid of lactose, get rid of excess glucose, impurities. It's going to help you transform. I've seen people transform. How many of y'all fast and you look in the mirror and you say, I got this, glow? It's a painful process though, ain't it? So most people don't want to endure. They don't want to endure. Meaning what? They like it outside. They talk that talk, but they don't want to endure. Because if they endure, they're going to have to deal with everything that's in their house. And sometimes that house is raggedy. Sometimes that house got to be clean. You know what I mean? Oh, but I'm here to tell you right now, you better clean it. And you better get your house in order. And there's another fast coming, by the way. So be ready. There'll be another 9-day fast. I've been talking about this offline. There'll be another 9-day fast from, I think it's the 10th to the 20th. June 10th through the 20th. I think it'll end on the 20th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Nope. From the 11th. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, from the 11th to the 20th, there'll be another 9-day fast. All right? So if you went through the last one, I know you know that this is deeper than fasting because how many people have developed an appetite for fasting? How many people have developed an appetite for fasting? How many people are having more of a lucrative experience when you're able to eat food? You're not clogged up. right? Your metabolism is boosted. I want to go back to that first question. How many people are developing an appetite for fasting? Meaning you're saying, you know what? I want to eat nothing. Like that's a meal. Like you get a plate and everything. Plate, fork. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. But plate, fork, you know what I'm saying? Spoon, right? And you eat nothing. He's like, niggas look at your plate. Like, what are you doing? I'm eating. You with me? Why? Because you're transforming, y'all. You're transforming. And you want to know what's so interesting about this? The evil ones can't integrate into this system, no matter how much the fast. The evil ones can do 40 days of fasting. It ain't going to change anything because they wouldn't be able to let go of what's in their heart, in their nature, the natural light. You with me? All right, we ain't done. So you have to be able to go indoors. You have to be able to endure to secure. Okay? What is secure? In order to secure, all right, you have to endure. Whose saying is that? Mine. You have to endure to secure, meaning you have to go indoors. You have to go inside to see the cure, to see the core. Okay? You have to go in, and the core is right here. Here go your symbol for the core. That's your core, the pyramid. It all leads back to the pyramid. That's why I told y'all, pyramid means mir in ancient Egypt, and it means also beloved. When you say mir, you're not just saying pyramid, you're saying beloved. And beloved is when that heart is activated in the center. You're full of love. You with me? You have to endure to see the cure. And their food will not endure. Remember that? What was the song I gave you? Good luck. Y'all remember? Right? I said your food will not endure like it's outside. And reminded you of Erykah Badu's song. I said, that's right. You know this song. Okay? You know this song. And what we're doing our best to do is to teach you that new song. Okay? The new song that only those who are of the 144 can learn. Meaning you have to be of the 9. Right? Or you have to be of the Nun. Okay? Nun. And you want to know what Nun also means? Nun means to be inert or still. Nun. To be still. Be still and do not move. Okay? Meaning you have to be centered. Why? Just for the love of it? No. So that you can be protected. So you can hear. Because if this is the wedding of the Lamb, how many people getting their rings? Y'all hear that ringing in your ear? Wedding of the Lamb, you're going to get a ring. Wedding of the Lamb, you better have your ring ready. And when somebody tries to reach out to you or call your phone will what? It'll ring. So somebody's attempting to call you. You keep saying, I want to call home, E.T. You understand that home is calling you. And you have a phone system. You have to be able to turn off all the noise and listen to the central voice. That voice is true, y'all. It's a true voice. It's going to tell you, stop doing this. You don't have time to keep doing that. Do this. Switch this. It's happening. It's happening. And I've watched a lot of y'all change, literally shift and transform. Okay? Because you cannot stop in the middle of your work while you're building this house. You with me? Let's say this is your house. Okay? And you making it all work out and you getting it all together. Okay? And you get all up on there. And then right at the point where it was all about to come together, you stop. Then you have not gotten in tune with Yanun. Okay? Let me tell you another sign. When you say Yanun or Yanun or Yanun in the ancient Egyptian language, you were saying to finish. To finish or to complete a thing. to complete or to perfect a thing, to make it whole. You have to finish it. That way, there will be a glow coming from you, and that light will be perfected. And when that light is perfected or corrected, it'll go from the red light that you saw in the fake images of Jesus, and it'll go to this light. You with me? You with me? And Malachi said that when your light changes from amber to emerald, they will reach out to you. You know, that don't call me, I'll call you. They'll reach out to you. You with me? And you'll be moving with such true light that no matter who come across you, they will not be able to deny it. Y'all seen people say, I'm going to kill you. And then they come on here, they went from I'm going to kill you to I love you. You see people, so I'll bring it up a million more times. It's my story. Y'all, people come up here, they say, yo, your soul is a fraud. I already know you faking, da-da-da-da. And then they go from there to say, I love you. Y'all done witnessed it happen on multiple occasions, haven't y'all? When people come up here, the niggas done literally told me they were going to kill me and went from telling me they're going to kill me to they love me, they see me, and they know I'm here to make sure everybody getting right. Okay, but then the idiots that follow them, okay, they don't see those episodes. So they think they have a victor over Omari. They have a victor over Faise, and they start to root for anybody that they just think could probably attack me. Okay, not even understanding the ones who are attacking me are coming and turning in their swords and dropping to their knees and saying, you know what? I know that if I was attacking you, I'm attacking myself. And I'm not exaggerating. Those were the words. So I didn't want to kill you. I wanted to kill me because I wasn't on point. And they missed that. And still to this day, you ain't seen no Smoke the Creator come out and say, you know what? I violated for even jumping into something I didn't understand. And I violated by speaking against a brother who doesn't even come on his own accord. He doesn't come speaking of his own. He comes speaking of true light beyond him. I violated by even attempting to say he wasn't of the chosen when everything in his read says he is. You with me? So y'all have to be able to stand it. A lot of people are not being able to reach that center because they won't let go of the ego. They won't let go of the hatred. And it may be in their nature to do that. So those of y'all who are tapping into that center, yeah, no. He already gave you that. Malachi York gave you that. That's who he's called, by the way. I am called in tone. Yeah, no. I was there, which is here, when they said, let there be light. Y'all, well, listen, I'm telling you, he already put his, I grew up listening to this stuff. So I know all the codes. And those of y'all who are able to stand still in that center, you're going to find your way home. That will be home. Remember, people ask me, what's going on with Malachi? And I ask them, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? Where are you? What's happening? What's the news on Pops? What's the news on you? Have you decided to stop playing yet? Have you decided to stop acting like this ain't serious? You know it is. Have you decided to stop acting like we can see all of you? Have you decided to stop acting like we can't? Or what do you need me to be? So just let me know. If you need me to be this, okay, then I'll be that. You need to be clueless? All right, cool, I'll be clueless. You need to be around me and think I don't see always? All right, then I'll do that. I don't see always that. What do you need me to be for you to be able to realize it? If you needed me to be a man in this form, reminding you in real time what's going on so you can hear again, I'll do that. After you're done needing me to be something, are you going to do the work so that what you needed me to be, I ain't be it in vain? You with me? So people are waking up now. And the work is being finished and complete or completed. And you knew that came when Kamala showed up. Because Kamala, he taught about that in the ancient, not the ancient, but the Ansar Allah days. He said Kamala or Kamala means to complete a thing. So that was your sign. When you saw Kamala running for a precedence, that was the precedent. So you better hurry up. And what did I tell y'all? I said by the year 2024, people don't elect themselves, they'll be in trouble. Meaning if you don't start electrifying yourself, you're going to be in trouble. And you're going to have to, you'll have a bigger mess that you're going to have to climb up out of. You with me? You with me? So you got to get on that boat and you better be in tune. You better understand about the sea of emotion that you have also. If people have a sea of emotions, they're going to have to figure out to be able to ascend. And your sea of emotions, you're going to need to know what parts of the sea you in, okay? So you'll know where you are when you arrive at different points and you'll know how to navigate or walk on water. Remember I told y'all what navigate mean? The word navi means water, navy, nebi, nevi. And it also means Nubian, okay, because that V is B, all right? That what you call vav, that's B. It's that B sound that people be trying to make, okay? You also get beta or bet in Hebrew, okay? But most of the time you see this V right here, it's interchangeable with B. So you say nebi, you're saying nebi, okay, which means a prophet. And the prophets walk on water, by the way. But the water, okay, is nebi. And then gate is this word right here, gate, which means to walk. All right, a certain demeanor. So to walk on water, you have to be able to navigate. All right. And in order for you to navigate, you have to know about your sea of emotions. And I'll give you the C as an acronym. C is SEA. All right. Meaning you have to understand what? Sympathy. You have to understand empathy. You have to understand apathy. You have to know when to apply what. And the key word you want to pay attention to in each of those words is this word path. Path. Okay? So what about this sea, Omar? I'll show you. This is how you walk on this water. Okay? This is you when you understand it. You'll be walking as a merkaba. It's called a chariot or a ship. Okay? You have your empathy. Well, let's start with sympathy, right? Okay? Your sympathy would be, let's say, together. Together feeling, which is what you're literally saying, by the way. I'm not making these things up. All right? But this will help you remember it. So you have your together feeling, and then you have your empathy, which is your inward feeling. Let's say within. Within feeling. And I'm using within for a reason, because that has multiple meanings, but also the word that comes after that, apathy, has without, which has multiple meanings. Okay? So you have without feeling. If you understand your sea of emotions and you stand on top of it, okay? And I'm not telling you to lose that part of yourself that makes you into a human being. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to overstand it. To literally stand over it. Okay? When you understand your sea of emotions, you can travel anywhere. You won't drown. And you're going to meet people and you're going to understand not only when to apply apathy, empathy, sympathy. You're going to know when somebody's being sympathetic with you, empathetic with you, or apathetic with you. That makes sense to you? It's supposed to. It will make sense. Okay? So all of y'all who walking on water, don't be like Peter. Peter was up under here drowning. Why? Because Peter, I just felt a vibration. That was interesting. Peter means a rock or a stone. And you plop a stone, some of y'all get it. It's going to do what? You're going to have to speed up. Speed up. And be like Abel, our brother Abel, which means vapor. Go look that up. And you're going to have to ascend above it. And this is what is meant by being full of faith. Faithful. Faithful. Because only the true and faithful will be able to walk on water. That's why they said Peter was of so little faith. And no, faith don't mean what people think. All right? Faith is a secret word. You got to learn how to take the vowels out of these words. Faith is a secret word. It's ta. Okay? Which is a key. Okay? Faith is the key. Truth is that which turns the key. Okay? So that you can access what's behind that door. But he was also little faith. So when he jumped off of the physical Merkaba, the physical ship, the physical boat, what did he do? He sank until he was able to see. All right, again, see, navigate, walk on water. You with me? Now, if you are existing in a peaceful state, it'll be easier to do this, which means you want to do all that work. The easiest way to exercise negative feelings and emotions is to exercise. You want to do an exorcist? Then exercise. Go run. Hop on a treadmill. Lift weights. Do push-ups. Get in the gym. All right? But you want to start exercising and creating more of this discipline. Okay? You want to get in that mode that the disciples had to get into. Why? Because they were the only ones who were in the upper room when it was time. Regardless of what people say, they were the only ones who saw him leave in the book of Acts chapter 1, verse 9. All right? So then, who will be the ones that will meet on Mount Zion? Okay? Where are the 144,000 that are spoken of in the book Revelation chapter 14, verse 4? Where y'all at? It all adds up. ADD. Where y'all at so we can count you? And what's so interesting about it, it don't matter who it is. Pick an agency, pick an organization, pick a government. They can't stop this. And they know they can't stop it. They can't stop these. They know they can't stop it. They can't stop God in them. They know they can't. But you want to know what's so interesting? They're still going to try. Revelation chapter 12. The war in the heavens. They're still going to try. It's happening now. The Star Wars. They're trying to shoot it down. And they keep getting their ass zapped and zapped and zapped and zapped because they're desperate. They're desperate, y'all. They want to hold on to this rulership. It ain't never dawned on them that they tried to lead a war on Nibiru or in the heavens. They tried to lead a war. And they lost and got cast here. And they trying to fight again. So they actually invading or attempted to invade the holy cities, the mother plane. They were going to do like they showed you in the Independence Day movie. Except this ain't the movie. Okay? This is real life. They will not prevail. So all of y'all get in tune with Yanun. And it's not hard to do it. In the shadow hour, when you're laying there, turn all the lights off. Okay? And look. All right? You can do this by having your eyes open or closed. Okay? Sometimes I open mine, sometimes I close them. Look into space. It's going to look like that. Look into space. And wait for what? The green light. You'll see it. It'll be green, and then you'll see its accompanying purple light or violet. Wait for it. And when you see it, call out. Yeah, no. Call it out. Yeah, no. Call it out. Yeah, no. Take your time. Deep breaths. Call it out. Yeah, no. And when you see that green light and you see that violet light, an affirmation you can say in between saying, yeah, no, right? Say, I want to be you. Say, I want to be you. I want to be you. Why? Because you're asking for these tones and frequencies to align with you. Some of y'all got in that green light, didn't even realize what y'all were doing. And it changed you, didn't. Transformed you. And you realize how powerful lights are. Just lights. Look, as I'm speaking to y'all, I'll be up under that blue light. That aids with the throat chakra's delivery and execution. You understand that? This is a science they've been talking about since before science was called science. The Hindus spoke about it. That blue light, when you wanted to operate in speaking purely in what's referred to as Vishuddha, okay? When you wanted to activate pure thought or pure spoken word, you went into Vishuddha. And Vishuddha meant pure. Right? That's why I told y'all what? Here go your formula. The green light was healing. We did that already, 2023. Up to the summer, I think it was, of 2024. Where we activated the blue light. Green light was be cured. Right? So let's just say cure. Green light was the cure. The blue light was your ultimate reminder to what? Be pure. And now you're in this purple light and you have to what? Be sure. And I told y'all things are going to shift with me because I'm in tune with these lights. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love being able to show y'all. People get on here, I talk right into their life. And they like, how you saying this? Or what? I'll say something. They're like, how you know that? What you just say? Da, 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 da. I'm like, it's that same thing. People trying to act like they're accessing. I'm showing y'all it's real. But you have to do the work, the real work. And a part of that real work is stop acting like you're something you're not. There are a lot of these people out here now that watch me, music industry artists and all, and they know who I am, and they know what I am, and they know what I'm attached to, and they know who I come with, and they know who he is, they know what he is, they know who he's attached to, and they know what he comes with, and they don't want to acknowledge us out loud, because when people look and come in here, they'll say, this man is the truth. This is true light. They're going to say it, and when they say it, you'll look at the others and see what they're doing, their works, and you'll say, this is not of the true light. But you were able to kick it until the true light shows up. Are y'all hearing me? This is that gift. Because if it were just me, I don't think it wouldn't work. If it was just me, it couldn't work. Because I went through the same process as y'all went through. Yet I surrendered a long time ago. I surrendered so long ago, it don't even matter. It's just you met me after me surrendering. And I said, I know we don't know what we're doing. Y'all help me guide them so that we can have a chance to. I know we don't know what's going on. Y'all ask me what's going on. I don't know. Just watch. Keep watching. I don't know. I can't predict that somebody's going to say they're going to kill me and then switch in less than a week and say I love you. I can't predict somebody get on here and straight cuss me out. And then in the next 13 minutes, they talk about I love you and we want to talk. I can't predict that. I can't predict people get on here and say, yo, man, yeah, Bobby Hemmett, you crazy for calling him out. Da, 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 da. And then in the next 13 minutes, they buzzing on out talking, well, he was just good for entertainment. Because it's my centered nature that's leading people to expose themselves when they meet me. Why? Because I'm still. I'm not frantic. You need to get on here. Niggas can't stand still. They get on here and literally start sweating. You're telling on yourself. Your being is telling on yourself. You can't sit still. You can't stand still. Here's how you learn. And then it's that stillness that brings that right up out of them. You think I'm going on the offense. I already showed you offense. This ain't offense or defense. There's no fence here. This ain't the fence. This ain't you own the fence, off it. There are no fences. This is straight, plain, open ground. No hiding, no ducking, no climbing down, no leaning, no peeping toms, no nothing. It's just everything is exposed. And when you come here, you try to pick one. And they get mad at me when I don't pick one. I don't get it. Which one are you? So are you this? Are you that? Are you this and that? And it's just put it on a display. They put it on a display. And they don't know they're putting it on a display. And some of y'all been around long enough, you're able to see it. That's a display. You want me to choose because you're stuck. You want to box me in because you're in the box. Everybody has tried to do it. Who hasn't? The Moors try to do it. The Masons try to do it. The Christians try to do it. The Muslims try to do it. The you better change the channel. If you're not then they running out of ammo. This is my world like I'm Elmo. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They want to play a monkey and give them a banana. Okay, you know what I'm saying? They see it. They see it. They understand it. Remember. Just remember. Some of y'all have been on here, be on here for hours with me. Y'all remember when Rashad Jamal said, I can't, he ain't never did a 3 hour, we couldn't do nothing but laugh, could we? I've done so many of them so long ago, it's like, that's all? What about the 13 hours ones? What about the 12 hours ones? What about the clubhouse days when I'd be on there for a whole half day? People done left, went to work, went to sleep, came back. I'm still teaching, and that was just in my room. Then I leave out of my room, close the room, end the teaching. What I do? Go to other people's rooms and start teaching again. Some of y'all realize how many times I've been live just this month and how many teachings I do when I just take the pen, and I realize y'all liked it, so I like, okay, let me do it more, and just put the pen to the paper. Pen to the paper. And we cracking so many codes. I promise y'all, some of y'all gonna come back and teach me this stuff. I'll be done, forgot I said it because there's so much coming through. I'll be like, yo, that's deep. And you'll be like, yeah, you taught that. Because it just flows. It flows. Stuff I didn't know people could know. We just know it. Same way with the honey. Remember I told y'all honey? I said, look, honey, you see the word honey? I can show you how it relates to the bee, right? Honey. I said, it's the Hindu. The secret of the Hindu right here. Hindu. And then honey, I said, look, flip it around, it's yeah, no, which is yeah, no. Yeah, no, it's the tone. Yeah, no. I'm like, yo, who would have known that? And in the Holy Tablets, he did a whole section dedicated to the bee. And he said, he said, make sure you think twice on the bee. Next time you just eat a simple teaspoon of honey. And then this right here is like liquid gold. I said, this is liquid gold. And I was talking to the Sabaeans about it. They're like, well, that's not liquid gold. They got mad at me like I had attacked their religious beliefs. And I was like, well, I didn't say that that's only liquid gold as honey. I'm saying, what if there's a secret message? Because when you drink honey, it cures things. It tones you. It works on your voice. It all kind of stuff with just this liquid. What if this is liquid gold? It's gold. It's liquid. It makes sense. And you think you understand what Makfuzet is. Makfuzet is a powder. It is a liquid. It's a monoatomic. It's all kind of shit. It's the DNA of the gods. It's blood. It's sacred ash. What is Makfuzet? You have to describe all of those things to say what it is. So you cannot say it's a single state. You can't say it's a single thing. What if it's so simple as honey? Honey. What if it alters your DNA? What if you become more of a sweetheart? And remember in my book, The Hidden Hand Scroll, so y'all don't think I'm just playing. In The Hidden Hand Scroll, didn't I write that and put that in there? I said, you got to be one of the sweethearts. And showed you how rich homie Quan meant reach home and be there. Reach home. Reach homie Quan. And showed you how Rish gave you the word what? Oh, actually it was Rahik. Rahik gave you what? Nectar or honey. And when you say rich homie Quan, nigga, that's the 3-part root of Rahik. Rahik, which means honey or nectar. Go look it up. And when you reach home and be there, you'll be in the center, which is the heart. And you got to be a sweetheart because it's the sweethearted who will be able to activate. You can't be a hardened heart. Shh. This hardened heart's got to be soft. Anybody understanding what I'm explaining to y'all? They told y'all I couldn't teach 3-hour lectures. First of all, you're right. I don't do lectures. That sounds like lesser. I don't do that. I teach. I was taught to teach, not be a lecturer. So a lecturer, a dumbass, okay, you might want to say different words. You with me? Or let you're upset that I am a teacher and I'm not trying to claim anything, yet I'm more qualified than all of y'all out here claiming. I ain't claim. Which elder am I, y'all? Let's test it. Has Faise One, let's do it. Y'all ready? Has Faise One claimed to be one of the elders? No. So you can't put that on my resume. I never claimed to be one of the elders. Y'all did. Have I claimed to be one of the gods who incarnated into the earth from off some spaceship and this is my name? No. No. As Faise One claimed to be Jesus Mary or Jesus son of Mary, the Christ. Did I do what Nature Boy did? No. I didn't do that. No. What else? Oh. Have I claimed to be Anubis? No. Have I claimed to be Ra? Anu? Nigga, Quetzalcoatl. Cat's the coat. Cat's the coat guy. Did I ever? No? No. Okay. I ain't claiming to be Kes Dakota, Anu, Ra, Anubis, Jesus, son of Mary, none of the guys, elders. But I promise you, some of y'all is side-eyeing me like, nigga, I know you one of them. Nigga, you got to be one of them. Maybe I am, but I ain't going to tell you which one. I ain't going to tell you which one. Maybe I am. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? But some of y'all side-eyeing me, and I done paid attention. Some of y'all say, I know who you are. And I get the whistling like, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know nothing. You think you know. Because everything you think you would know would have to be based on a book. You're not paying attention to the pages that are turning right now. It's happening. So you say, who are you? I say, I am Omari. But are you Jimmy? I'm Omari. But are you? Yeah. Right there. You see that right there? Yeah, I see it. But which one of the elders are you? Everybody claim to be one of the... Excuse me. Yeah. It's right there. Go study that. Go study that. That's who I am. But what does it mean? It means God. You ain't God. Okay, never mind. Never mind then. Because everything you would think you would know of who I am, you have to get it from a book. This is the closest to the tone you're going to have to understand it. You still would need to get it from a book, and then you're going to tell me I'm not that. And it's like, why are we talking? What are you? Oh, I'm James. What's your name? My name is Omari Shaman Hargrove. What's your name? Oh, it's Bill. Bill. Oh, okay. What's your name? My name is Kevin. Kevin. That's great. Nice to meet you, Kevin. What were you saying, Kevin? Oh, I was saying you're not God. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Name like Kevin, I got to listen to you. Who's your friend? This is Sally. Oh, all right. Hey, man, nice to meet you, Sally. You with me? So I haven't claimed to be any of these things. They didn't. Let me tell you what was messing them up. They weren't paying attention. They weren't keeping watch. I snuck up on them. You with me? Everybody was chilling. Everybody thought it was all good. And they were going to let this blow over. They were going to get their money, live their deceitful lives, right? And nothing was going to happen. And then out of the green popped up this guy, Omari. He just popped up. They said, what the fuck? They didn't even know where I came from. This was them looking out the window. I was out here. I was just standing looking at them. I even waved, scared the shit out of them. They said, who the fuck is this? So Niggas started to like let the window up and talk to me. I talked to them and they got scared. They didn't want nobody in the house to know who I was. So I just stood out there with a big ass trombone, trumpet, microphone, anything. Let's do a microphone. Microphone system, speakers. Right? And I said, I'm gonna give y'all one more chance. They're like, man, he be loud, but he ain't making no noise. I said, yo! They thought that was it. So they like, okay, whatever. Because a few people heard me. After a few people heard me, a few people wound up outside with me. They said, okay, whatever, we can lose them. Then I said, yo! Then I didn't want to, some more niggas came outside. Who's this nigga? I said, yo! Niggas started coming up. Niggas was sitting on the speaker. Niggas was chilling. They started saying, this nigga's a problem. Everybody coming the fuck where he at. And they thought I was just going to stand there. After I said, yo, I said, let's go. They said, where the fuck are you going with our slaves? I said, they not your slaves no more. So they tried to yell after y'all. He just wants you to follow him. One of y'all was like, nigga, we walking with him. You should have been out here the other day. He tripped. We helped him up. They said, damn. Trying to tell you, man. You know what I mean? If people get all kind of people upset with me. Let me just say this, right? Because there's so many. I guess I can address all at one time. All right, listen. My only error is probably allowing y'all to think that because I was swimming, I belong in the water with you. That's my only error. You don't own me. You don't own me. You don't own my time. You don't own my phone number. You don't own my being. You don't own my person. You don't own my soul. You don't own my name. You don't own my tones. You don't own me. And you don't know me. I popped up, said, yo, let's go. Just walk. What the fuck is you asking me about why I got on these color shoes? Or whether or not I've been to the bakery lately. Or do I like what you're wearing? Da-da-da. You don't know me. I don't know you. What we know is there's a walk ahead. There's a path. It's like this. There's a walk ahead. Here go you. Ooh, you see the bakery over here? Yo, can you come and talk to me about this? Yo, you got a second? You got, which means an hour? You got da-da-da-da. And I'm still walking. And I'm like, what do y'all want from me? Because you want something from me, you can depart from me. As soon as you start, when people start showing that they want something from me thing, I think it ain't going to be long before I get set up. Or before you wind up out here lying on me. Like all these other disgruntled people lying on me. Because they wanted something from me and they didn't get it from me. You have the wrong idea. And I was sitting at this table, this very table, about 3 days ago, and I was just talking. I was talking to my wife. I was talking to one of the other sisters. And I said, they have placed me in a position to be able to see exactly what he was going through. When stuff happened, because you know we got groups that be around and stuff like that, right? And people be in Telegram groups, all this other stuff. When stuff happened with the groups, it don't matter what it is, relationship stuff, okay, somebody, guess who they always pointed at? They pointed at me. And I be telling people not to do the shit they be doing. And people still pointed at me. Right? You'll have somebody be around in the group. Or in the groups, there was a situation. All right, just let y'all know. All of it is a part of it. So just listen. Right? There'll be a group. Because we had 3 groups on Telegram. 3 houses. 1, 2, 3. All right, we had 3 houses. One of the houses was for the language, the Nuwapic language. One of the other houses was for the sisters to do that thing, the goddess chat. Another one of the houses, look, this shit say not gonna lie. I can't even make this up. This shit said not gonna lie on accident. You think I planned that? Whatever, nigga. You had the Nuwapic, the Goddess, and the Lighthouse chats all activated. Each and every one of these houses were ran by who? Women. I don't know what's going on with hers. We're going to fix her shit. Hold on, my bad. Okay, we got to connect it. Okay. Women. Right? So the women had their own systems of who was going to be around. You had to show up a certain amount of time. We got people working behind the scenes to help with Pop's case. We got all kind of stuff we're doing, right? So the women was like, yo, you got to show up. You can't just be, a body in the lineup. You got to do a certain amount. It was like that in the language chat. Niggas was trying to come and tell on the women to me. I said, what did they say? Well, they just kicked me out of the group. What were their rules? I had to show up. We had to do this. We had to make sure we participated. Okay, well, what's so busy in your life that you can't text a word in the chat? That's all they asking. They're not asking for too much. And matter of fact, why are you coming and telling me? You're attempting to undermine their leadership. Now I got to side out you. They're put in position for a certain reason. And so interesting, I ain't even put them in position. They walked into position. All three of them. And I have nothing to say against it, but a lot of brothers had an issue with it in the beginning, right? Because they were trying to say, oh, the women are trying to take advantage of their power. They what is, I can't remember the word they were using. Something like they getting drunk with power or some shit. I'm like, I don't feel that. I feel like y'all aren't used to structure. And that when sisters come through, they're going to bring a certain amount of structure. And you thought you had structure, so it's going to be uncomfortable. Now you're getting upset with them personally, not understanding you need this school. You need to learn this. And you need to learn to respect them. When they say something, just align with what they're saying. And I respect what they're saying. So what's the real issue? You're becoming one. What's my point here? We have 3 women who were running these houses. Okay, so if the women say you ain't doing this and you ain't a part of this, that's their thing. So yeah, some sisters who got removed from the Goddess chat, right? Why? Because those sisters weren't showing up. They weren't participating. They weren't helping. One of the sisters, what they do when they leave, they go out and they say, Faise, look, y'all, they say, Faise is a snake. They say, Faise is running a cult. They say Faise doesn't want, guess what? Faise doesn't want women to lead. And I was reading this like a newspaper. I was learning so much stuff about myself I didn't know. I didn't know I was a snake. I didn't know I was running a cult. It was news to me because all of the houses, including the one you got kicked out of, I don't have any say-so in that. The women run it. They still run it. You have to understand. They still run it. The only time I intervened when it came to the women's thing is because they had too much. It was too much going on, and I could feel it. And I told them, one of y'all have to take control over whatever that is to get that ether back in alignment that's coming from that space. And they did. And then eventually they were checking in with me every now and again. Because I was saying, just let me know what's moving and have productive things going on. Don't just be gathering around the gossip. Right? I did say that. Have productive things going so that more things can be moving and the sisters get it together. Y'all can organize it a certain way and we'll have more structure other than y'all just talking about stuff. Y'all can do all that too, but still make sure the productivity is happening. So they started to check in with me. Hey, we about to do this. We're going to do that. It got to the point where I said, yo, you don't got to keep checking in, right? It took a week of them checking in. I said, check in every week. After the first week, I was like, yo, you don't got to keep checking in with me. Because I don't want to be over the women's thing. I want the sisters to be in position to lead because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. I told my Umi this when I was 15 years old. I said, Umi, they're not going to want to move over and let the matriarch come through. Some of y'all just learned that word yesterday. I was 15 talking about some shit that y'all saying is trending now. I said, Umi, they're not going to want to move over and let y'all rule. I said, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to become a major celebrity. I said, and the brothers is going to respect me and the sisters are going to look up to me. I said, and then when I get that position, I'm going to move over and say, it belongs to the sisters. I said, that way, the brothers who respect me, they're going to move over too. I literally was telling my Umi the plan when I was in high school. So to even have people coming out here talking about, I don't respect the matriarchy because you don't know where you are anymore, that's confusing. What are you talking about? You don't know what the matriarchy is. You steady telling me, bro, you don't respect the matriarchy, bro. You sound like a nigga. Talking about, I don't respect the matriarchy. You think rulership and leadership happens from the patriarchal sense. If the sisters are really in their seat to rule, they don't gotta run their mouth. Listen, same thing I told the sisters before. When a sister says something ain't moving right, all she got to do is remove herself. The divine feminine, all she got to do is just remove herself and watch that whole situation get right. If you got brothers who don't want to act right, just step out the picture. Watch them niggas act right. You with me? Especially those who are saying they want to align with being divine masculine. But you bucking up at me, literally holding your nuts. Talking about the matriarchy. I can't tell whether or not you're trying to imitate the man or the dyke or the stud. You have to figure out what part of the matriarchy you're talking about. You saying masculinity? Anybody can do that. Anybody can do masculine. I thought you were speaking on that which makes you the being that you are as the matriarch, the mother's degree. The man can't replicate your degree. We can do the best. Niggas, you see niggas out here trying to do it now. They don't know where to begin. I ain't never tell y'all. I started on the book. It was called How to Think Like a Woman. And I started on that book in 2020. And I'm still starting on that book in 2025. I'm still starting on it. You say, Faise, okay, how's your first chapter looking? I'm still starting on it because I have to write truthful things. And I can't begin to understand how a woman thinks. That was a joke. I think they did that just to humble me. They came to me and say, all right, for your next task. I said, what's up? They said, write a book. I said, oh, yeah, I can do this. I said, what's it called? How to Think Like a Woman. I said, man, you don't get your stupid ass up out my room whispering. I said, man, you don't take your elder ass up out my room, nigga. The fuck? They were like, huh? I said, why, dude? Close it up. You ain't finna have me fucked up. Try to start wars and shit with my aunt checking me and all kind of shit. What's this I hear you? Man, go talk to your brothers and them. Coming and saying me up. I ain't trying to take everybody get the fuck on. You too. Yeah, I know. My heart gonna be on there too. God damn it, I'll be there. Shit, what? We don't know how y'all think. We don't know. We don't know. I was talking to my wife earlier. She was like, yo, she said, y'all are so simple. We were watching the video that Big Boy did when he was calling niggas, telling them good night and shit. And she was talking about how all our answers is like, what she's called simple or singular, like the same thing. I said, yeah, we simple. You know what I mean? And she was like, can y'all stop being that? Like, and I answered, and be y'all? What? We can't. We're us. We're us. So if we fucked up, silly, matriarchy is not an attack move. Matriarchy is a rectification move. If you thinking matriarchy finna come back so you can have power over a man, it will not work. It will never arrive, and we all lose. If you see that we just need this, we need help. We need it cleaned up. We need to be able to be more telepathically intuitive. We need to be more psychometric. We need to be more clairvoyant. We need to be more in tune with nature. We need to be able to breathe and stop being barbaric animals and alpha men and fucking gorillas and wolves. We need y'all. And it's your presence and your awareness of your presence. You're being in tune with your seed. I think I'm going to have to put some more letters in there for the sisters. Your seed of emotions, your seeds, your 7 seeds, and the seeds up under the seeds, and the ground that's up under the water, the rain, the water cycle, the hurricanes, the tornado. Nigga, the nebula, how we end up out here. You let me know, and then I'll learn how to write this book. Y'all have to be in tune with whatever the fuck it is that y'all are. We need y'all to be y'all. And you can't be trying to learn what you are from a man. We gonna lose. If you saying the matriarchy coming back, don't try to be us. Look, we fucked it up. Be y'all. And be y'all not how the patriarchy taught you to be. Because the patriarchy will let you win and think that you're raising up and you're ruling. But they'll say, yeah, come be a part of corporate America and wear this suit. So you talking about someone, yeah, the matriarchy, and you look like Bill. I can't tell y'all apart. You talking about, yeah, we did it. We can vote. We just like them. We fight feminism, da-da-da-da. And all y'all sitting out there looking just like niggas. I'm like, yo, check this out. If you want to bring back that matriarchy, you have to do it with love. And the love that we need y'all to have is a love that comes from knowing order needs to be restored. So for the sister who got upset with me because somebody else removed you from a chat, I ain't have anything to do with that. The fact that you say I'm a snake running the court and don't want women to lead, I don't even have nothing to do with that. And for the other sister who's out here now upset with me because you saw one video, which that can't be the reason. Y'all be triggered with other things. Again, for the sisters, I don't care what a nigga tell you. I don't condone niggas abusing women. I don't have anything to do with that. You got in a relationship with somebody who call themselves associated with me, and you see I'm on this live, and do you hear any nigga in the background talking about some, that's right, them niggas on, I don't even know where niggas live. I don't even know what states niggas is in. I don't care how much they try to replicate my voice, say words like me, use this, da-da-da-da-da. I don't care. You see me walking right here. Right here. I wasn't taught to put my hands on women. I was taught to build women up. Only abuse that ever happened between me and a woman in a relationship was me receiving it. So I don't know what the narratives are where people are being attacked and having bad relationships or horrible communication skills that turn into somebody being abused. So that's what a lot of the times it is, right? Meaning somebody is abusive because you don't like how they communicate. So then you say, oh, this is a person abuser. I've seen that too. That has nothing to do with me. You putting stuff on me, taking stuff out on me, talking about some these social media niggas, they be doing this, da-da-da. That's your man. Those are y'all dudes. That's not Omari. So I love you, yet you're showing more of you when you come for me, and I've done nothing to you but support you, love you, help you, uplift you, and then y'all taking it out on me what these other people are doing. I'm telling y'all real situations. I posted a video and said, yo, this shit is staged. Y'all remember that? The very next line I said, before you have a heart attack, let me tell you what I mean. It's almost as if one of these people heard this shit is staged and cut off the video, said that's enough. And set up their camera, and I became all kind of everything. All kind of shots and slights, and I'm just watching this. And I tell y'all, you know, I come from the center, right? I got to tell you the truth. You know, I saw the video, and I was confused. I really got sad a little bit. I just watched it. My eyebrows just went up. I wasn't upset. I wasn't offended. I just felt a little sadness. I'm like, man, it's come to this. You know what I mean? Because I don't understand. And I haven't heard from, this is how it happens. You don't hear from people, then they pop up on you. Then it's like, there's a whole nother energy. And it was like, what do you mean? I was called out for that. So my point is, it's coming like that a lot where people are saying certain things. Even still, I'm dealing with it with love. Any other sisters around me, though, will tell you, no, Omari will tell you, cameras off. He'll say, you need to surpass me. Whatever you're doing, you need to surpass me. Here's how you do it. Right? Oh, no, you're doing that. You need to be doing that, and that. You need to be doing this, da-da-da-da. Oh, you need to show up more. You need to be posting more, da-da-da-da. No, what you doing? Okay, yeah, okay, if you're doing that, well, then you need to have somebody hold a camera, and that way when people see it, they don't get bored, and they scroll, and da-da-da-da. You'll be able to reach more. You'll be able to trick the algorithm, da-da-da-da. When I talk to people, it's uplifting. When I talk to my wife, It's uplifting. Say, yo, you get on this, do that. Yo, yeah, okay, I see that. Yo, you doing great with that. Woo. Try this again. Yo, listen, you see how you just sounded right there? You need to be singing. You need to do music. I refuse to accept whatever the fuck y'all got going on. Y'all attempt to bring everybody into that bullshit canister of abusers and everything like that. And I witnessed it my whole life. And I get it because a lot of men are abusers. That's what this whole Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez shit is about, really. Okay? It ain't about Meg getting shot. It ain't about whether or not Tory is. It's about the fact that men have abused women for so long. Let me tell y'all something, right? If you a man and you out here attacking Meg, all right, I side-eye you. I don't want you around me. I watch when shit like that happen. It's been like that. It's been like that for a while. Okay? The sisters, I don't care. The sisters can say that shit. Oh, she lying, da-da-da-da. It nothing to do with me. That's the sisters doing sister shit. But if niggas out here talking about some, she lying, da-da-da-da, free Tory, stop lying on black men. Nigga, you were not there. You weren't there. You're showing abusive traits. You weren't even there. You just want to argue with women. That's bitch nigga shit. That's bitch nigga shit. I'm not sorry. The shit that I grew up around, see, I know bitch nigga shit when I see it. You just excited to argue with women. Y'all don't remember? Y'all didn't see all the people starting podcasts? You didn't remember? They didn't do that shit till after Meg got shot and the movement came where the sisters was like, protect black women. Y'all made a response hashtag, said stop lying on black men. Y'all niggas is bitches. Y'all niggas some hoes. All they said was protect black women. The most niggas should have said is, you right. Or we got you. We got you. That's the most niggas should have said. You want to know why I'm saying this? Because the men are not in tune with one another how the women are. How many people been reading my books? Y'all know I wrote this already, right? I wrote this back in 2021, 2022, the How to Love Again book. And I spoke on the situation 3 years ago. And I explained the same thing. I said, listen, y'all don't understand. These women are in tune with one another. So even if the women like, nah, she lying, that don't mean that woman doesn't understand what abuse is. So for people to even try to split it up and just have it saying that men are for Tory and women are for Meg, you're confused. One of the sisters I'm talking to directly, you're confused. Because there are women who are also saying, what? No, she lying. So there are women who say that, okay? And that's understandable because they're doing what the sisters do. They talk about that type of stuff. They express what they feel. They have their emotions. They'll talk about it and they'll forget about it the next day until they come up again. They'll do that. Or they'll talk about it. It'll be a whole campaign. They'll do podcasts and talk shows on it. You'll see them sitting up there with their legs crossed. Okay? Like, see, look, one of the sisters say she is lying. She can do that. What the fuck is niggas doing? Why are men involved? Somebody please help me. Because I don't understand it. Then you had all the Kevin Samuels wannabes, right? Because they put Kevin Samuels up on like this pedestal. They made a statue for him, put it in D.C., right? So everybody wanted to be Kevin Samuels because they thought Kevin Samuels' whole approach was to attack women. So niggas get off on watching women be tore down, abused, hated, spoken against, all of that. They get down on that or they get off on that. Why? Because when they was 3 years old, somebody on the playground broke their heart and they've been out to get everybody ever since. That's a woman. So niggas don't want to pay attention to the truth. The truth is y'all hate women. Not all of y'all. And I shouldn't have to say not all of y'all because some niggas in here like, hell yeah. It might be two of y'all. It might be two men in here saying, he right. The other niggas talking about some, it ain't all of us. It's going to be some other niggas talking about some, why you getting on us? Get on them. That's bitch nigga shit. Stand up. If I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about you. If you ain't never did shit to no women to abuse them, your heart ain't feeling like it's being tugged right now. All the rest of y'all niggas, y'all feeling something in y'all chest. And that's okay. Because you need to feel it in your chest. You need to be able to understand that even though I can stand right there in that neutral point, I still understand why the sisters are upset with us. You want to know why the sisters are upset with us? Some nigga gonna think, oh, you pandering to women because you're a dumbass. Right? You want to know why the sisters are upset with us? Because we, for all these years, all right, this is my year, I'm 26, right? For all these years that they've known men in their life, they witnessed men enable abuse. They've witnessed men support abuse, right? They've witnessed men abuse. They've witnessed men, advocate for abusers. They've witnessed men join in on abuse. They've witnessed men do all these things. Women have suffered oppression from the patriarchy, from men, y'all. And any nigga who gonna negate that, you a part of it. I don't give a fuck. You a part of it. You got to be a part of it. Because you know some of your homeboys done did some dirty shit. You know that. You know some of your homeboys done did some dirty shit, or you done did some dirty shit, or your brother done did some dirty shit, or your dad done did some dirty shit, or your cousin done did some dirty shit, or you see some dirty shit going on, you ain't get involved. You ain't try to stop it. We're not the same is what I'm saying. I was in a situation, keep it real simple, keep it real brief. We in an Airbnb. All right. Here go the scenery. Here go some couches over here. You see this where the armrest is. Couches over here. Door right here. Everybody else is in the kitchen. Niggas is out here, you know what I'm saying, drinking, sitting down, watching TV, whoop, whoop. 3 women pulled up. We had 3 women show up. Hold on, 1, 2, 3. 3 women showed up. One of the women was there for one of the main people, and the other 2 women was there just vibing, chilling, doing their thing, right? Listen, I'm listening to music. One of them had a bottle of Patron. This is in 2021. One of them had a bottle of Patron. They walking over to me. When one of them came, it was a pretty dark-skinned lady. She came over to me. I said, let me get some of that Patron. She said, what? I said, let me get some of your Patron. She said, you just going to ask me for my... I said, all right. I said, you want to give me... And then she leaned over to give me some, poured some in my cup. And we were talking, vibing. Everybody talking. They ordered pizza. Everybody cooling. What's going on with these men over here? And it was a bunch of them. What's going on with these men over here? They were vexed. I started to feel nothing but amber coming from that section. And I'm watching like, what's going on? And then they would get up and they move around. They come to the box of pizza, get them some, then go back. They all that. I'm like, what's going on? And then I heard one of them niggas say, and they said it amongst themselves around me when the sisters was away from them. They said, man, if them hoes ain't fucking, they got to get the fuck on. Right? I say, damn. It ain't even that I ain't never heard niggas say that before because I grew up in the hood. Niggas say that shit all the time. Right? It was just the energy that came with it. It was like they really got activated. Like they was ready to fight. Man, them hoes ain't fucking. They got to get the fuck on. And I'm sitting there, I had a little frown on my face. And they not even paying attention to me. So they did the thing. The sisters did the thing. When they go to the bathroom, they come back. They go to the, you know what that mean? If they go into the bathroom, they keep going to the bathroom, they're not comfortable. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at all that shit. I'm like, man, this shit bad. Because myself is, I can enjoy the presence of women without trying to snatch their panties off. So it's like, it get real uncomfortable. And I'm not, hold on, don't get me wrong. I don't want niggas to listen, don't listen. They were bad, all right? I'm not saying, no, I'm not stupid. I'm saying they were fine as hell. So what? They obviously went on that tight timing. So what, bro? You can still vibe. So then they drinking and then they ready to go home, all kind of stuff going on. But the main girl didn't want to go home, so she's still trying to do what she there to do. She on a mission, right? So they can't drive because they drunk. Long story short, I want having to help them because one of the girls, she threw up on the south side when they got one of my t-shirts. I had a white t-shirt. When they got one of my t-shirts and brought it back to her, and they were thanking me and all this other stuff. And then eventually I had to put myself between them before everybody went to rest. Because some of the niggas had wound up going to sleep. Because it was another thing that fucked me up. Is the sisters was trying to go to sleep, right? So niggas was wanted a room. It was a big ass Airbnb. Every nigga wanted a room to themselves. And we're talking about, oh, them hoes can hit the couch. Da 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 da. I'm like, man, listen, what? Yo, get in one of these rooms. One of y'all niggas can go on. Y'all know how we do. We just did it in one of the other Airbnbs. Everybody was in. It's a bunk bed in the room. It's 4 niggas in. 2 niggas on the floor. 1 nigga on the top bunk. 1 nigga on the bottom. What's so different about this one? Let them get one of these rooms. Nigga were ready to argue with me about it. So I was like, never mind. So I just say, listen, I went and got a blanket for him, sat them on the couch. Long story short, I wound up putting Malachi meditation on. And I sat between them. I didn't even go to rest till everybody was asleep. I sat between them and the other dudes, and they was on my left. And one of the other ladies, all right, her name started with a V. One of the other ladies, right, because it was 2 of them, she was just looked at me before she went to rest. She was like, thank you so much. And I was like, nah, y'all good. And they went to rest. And then I was listening to the meditation, and then I wound up going to rest. Next thing I know, everybody was up in the AM. It was day 2. The 2 of the sisters were up, and they were leaving. My point is, I've been around all kind of shit like that. I was around being 14, 15 years old. Niggas that had the females coming through. Everybody knew, oh, Faise ain't finna do none of that. He ain't running no train. He ain't doing none of that. He ain't smoking. He finna sit in here. He finna engineer. He finna edit. They already knew that. But I just remember one of these nights, man, where it was, because there'll be a lot of niggas at this particular house. So it was some females that came through. I think these were the females that we wound up picking up from the mall. Who's in the West End. So we picked up some females from the mall. One of the niggas had a lot of money. They told me, we come through, da-da-da, woo-da-woo. So everybody doing their thing. So it was one of these sisters, she had red hair. If that was that same day, I think it was that same day. If not, it was some other, cause it was a lot of them times. But she had one red hair female. And she was sitting on the bed, and niggas had a big ass, like, speaker in the room, all kind of stuff. We used to record, da-da-da-da. And I just remember one of them niggas, like, that was like joking and laughing. I came in the room just to see what was going on with everybody. And he just laughing. And I saw the girl over there like she finna cry. And I'm like, what's going on? And he like wanted me to laugh in with him. Like he doing that little shit when nigga like hit your chest and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just looking like, and he like, man, that don't smell like fish. That don't smell like fish, bro. And they laughing. And I'm like, what the fuck? And who was it, bro? If I can remember. I can't say his name. Tripping. All right, anyway, it was one of the other dudes, he wound up passing away, right? One of the other dudes went off on everybody, right? And I'm glad he did that because I was probably going to have to do it. But he went off on everybody. He like, bro, if y'all finna invite, so he said, bro, if you said she smell like this, that, and the third, why don't you just tell her that like in private, like get her in the shower, woo, 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 woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Give her some shit to wear so she be comfortable, da-da-da-da, woo, woo, woo. And, you know what I'm saying, he was going off on him. But all the other niggas was like trying to get involved, like to laugh and clown on the system. My point is, man, it's so much shit like that just go on and it go unchecked, right? Then you get to the advanced abuse, all the other stuff. And again, I don't want people to think I'm desensitized to how this could be triggering for people when I speak about it. All right, so when I say stuff like advanced abuse, I really hope you don't think I'm intending to misspeak. Okay, because I don't want, if some people might have the idea that all abuse is abuse. I don't really understand all of those logistics. I'm saying that when you get to other levels, when people are doing other things, they still don't intervene. So the sisters are not crazy. When they said, we believe Meg, they're not talking about that situation alone. They talking about they believe that men will do some shit and then gaslight or act like it didn't happen and get into a community of people that can back them up and go to the end of the world to act like they ain't do some shit. You see what I'm explaining to you? But they'll do that, and then those sisters will have to endure that their whole life. Now, all the people who want to bring up other stuff like, oh, men be abused, da, 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 I'm not negating that. It's just that, do you understand that when a sister is talking about her abuse and you bring up that men get abused too, you just invalidated her experience by trying to balance it with some shit that don't have anything to do with her and her experience. So all that, men get it, men, it happens to men too. She's not a man. She can't come from no man's standpoint. When you're speaking up for men, let it be the man. That sound like when the sisters wanted to do the black girls rock, and then the trans girls was like, or the trans people was like, they trans girl rock too. Then why didn't y'all say that? Why do y'all wait until the sister say it and then y'all niggas come up and say, well, we rock. Y'all could have rocked and then nobody wouldn't even stop y'all from rocking. But y'all want to rock when they rocking. Everybody looking for like the spotlight to land right on them. Okay, some people want to play victim so they get some attention, taking attention away from the real people who experiencing stuff, right? And it becomes this gender war, political war, all this other bullshit that has nothing to do with what the main issue at hand is. So I say in the How to Love Again book, how we gonna fix this is, man, we got to take accountability for what happened. We have to. If we don't, it ain't going nowhere. We have to take accountability. It ain't Tory versus Meg. All right, it's the ones who don't want to take accountability versus the ones who do. We have to take accountability for our hand in this. And if we don't, listen, I'll leave it at this. You think the water weak until it's a tsunami. You think the water is weak until it's a tsunami. Because you're not paying attention to the signs, but I am. When you see sisters talk about some, I'm about to abort that baby, da-da-da-da, whoop-de-whoop, and you see it happening like that, again, I know it could be sensitive what I'm saying. All right, so again, trigger warning if it's the people who need that. Okay, I understand, and please understand that I don't understand from your experience. I can only know how I can know. So if you think I'm being insensitive, again, I have to tell you, that's not my intention at all. I only know how to speak on this from how I can. I'm not even, you know what I'm saying, from that part of being a woman to know certain things, right? So if they saying they letting the babies come through, that's a sign. Pay attention. They saying they don't want to have our babies, right? And it's becoming a mainstream thing. If they saying they're going to be celibate, they ain't around, all these is a sign. And no matter how much you want to try to disassociate yourself from it, human beings are natural beings. So this is a part of natural selection, how our women are acting. This is a part of our natural course, how our women are acting, what they're becoming is very telling of what our leadership was like. And if you see the women becoming men or acting like men and you're afraid of that or you're nervous about that or you want to fight that or you're scared of that, are we something to become? One more time. If you see the women starting to act like men, starting to be in relationships like men, starting to run their business like men, starting to be out here in the street, they driving like men. If you see that and you get nervous and you think it's something negative when you see them being more nigga than you are, is a nigga something to become? Are we something to be? Oh, and if you don't know something, when women get involved in some shit, they gonna be that shit better than you. When they put their hands on some shit, they gonna amplify that shit. So she dogging you out, or you getting cheated on left and right, and she moving like a nigga. One more time. She moving like a nigga. One more time. She moving like a nigga. Yeah, what were we doing? What was we doing? What our mama them had to go through? Or do you just discount it? Mama had to go through, daddy ain't coming home. He out and about doing whatever the fuck he doing. And she still got to wear a certain face and deal with the children a certain way. And then try not to knock this nigga head off when he come through the door smelling like whoever the fuck or wherever the fuck. Right? Or we thinking dad just taking a few vacations, like he ain't been back. But a nigga running the streets. Or he lying. She seeing shit in the phone. Da-da-da-da. It sound like what y'all niggas going through out here now. They moving like us. But they were watching, they paid attention, and then a lot of them are very intuitive, so they like, shit, they gonna survive. They not going through what their mama went through. So their whole approach is before a nigga get them, they gonna get a nigga. You see what I'm saying? Before they let somebody play them, they gonna play, you cheated on me? Good. Because I was already cheating on you just in case you were cheating on me. That's how they moving. Niggas chest hurting. Niggas wake up, they chest hurting. And it's our fault. If you can't see it that way, that's fine. I respect it. But if we're going to look at it from a unified point of view, man, niggas fuck this shit up. We got to get it right. And the only way we can get it right, we got to stop. We got to stop trying to abuse our way into power. If you find yourself having to punch your way into power and stomp your way into power and scream your way into, that ain't power. You shouldn't have to make not a single podcast and try to talk women into submitting. That was another thing that was some bullshit. Or I want a woman that's going to submit, a woman that's going to come up under my mic. I don't want no woman to submit. I don't want submission. You understand what I'm explaining to you? When a woman align with you, if anything, it should be compromise. If you want to use that word, we'll just say, come and promise me, all right, that you're going to walk with me. We're going to take this dance together. Why? Because there going to come times where you're going to lead. There going to come times where I'm going to lead. And we need to make sure we know which ones are which. I'm not talking about gender roles. I'm talking about intuition. Okay? I'm talking about emotional intelligence. I'm talking about this ain't my thing. Let me step back. Let him do it. This ain't my thing. Let me step back. Let her do it. This is our thing. Let's do it together. Why you want women to be up under you for? What you need her to bow down for? What are you afraid of? And if she's not submitting, that's a you problem. Even how you putting it. If it were a situation where you need submission, if it's not happening, that's a sign of what's going on with you. You're not worthy of submission. The point there is that word, it has a negative connotation. Stop that. They're not some fucking rag dolls that you show off when it's time to have a concert. Or you drag them along a string in the street so people can look at them and say, hey, you did great. Man, these beings are intelligent. Far beyond what we think intelligence is. They're wise. Far beyond what we think wisdom is. So they know what they're saying. Stop fighting them, okay? And stop entertaining niggas that want to fight them. Because you violated. Stop allowing and enabling niggas to fight them. You're violating. All that, man, y'all niggas trying to be simps and da-da-da-da. You're right. We are simps. We're keeping it simple. Why? Because all that shit that y'all think is advanced, listen, these women are far more advanced than that. They're far more advanced. You think you got some shit under control. We don't have it under control, so we keeping it simple. You're right. What else you need us to do? Oh, y'all saps. You're right. We're moving more like water because that's the day and time we in, so we move more like liquid. You're right. What else you need us to do? You know what I mean? It ain't no question that it's that day and time. So I don't know who could sit and listen to me speak about this type of stuff and be like, he don't want the matriarchy. You got to be a clueless woman to think that. If you're a woman thinking that, you got to be clueless. It ain't about whether or not I even want the matriarch. It's about what's necessary. Right now, we need balance. And let me tell you something. All right, about that word balance. Only time you'll hear niggas stand up to some, but ain't it a balance? Is when you start talking about the matriarch. Why? Because in their mind, here go the matriarch. Right? And in their mind, here go the patriarch. All right? That's why. They're afraid of balance. So when they saying, ain't it a balance? They're afraid that when women move up in their seat, for real, they're going to lose their power. They're afraid of something that doesn't even happen naturally. You don't lose your power because you think they're going to do how we did. They're not. If you just stop trying to fight them, it'll be an easy transition, seamless. You understand that? The more you try to fight them, please, we ain't ready for that war. We're not ready for that war. We're not ready for that war physically, mentally, spiritually, on any level. So I hear what the sisters are saying. That's all I'm saying. That's why I said to the brothers, and they got mad at me. They're like, I said, yo, if you spiritual, as you calling it, which is another thing, we already did that. If you're spiritual or you're woke or a sinner and you still calling people bitches, you still calling women a bitch, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. You need to watch your mouth. You need to watch your mouth. Because all this immense power that men swear they have on this plane, y'all are so afraid of women that you try to subjugate them and demean them and undermine them with words like this. Then here comes a stupid nigga. He gonna be like, but what if she is a bitch? But what if she is one? I said, excuse me, a bitch is a female dog, canine. You're stupid. She's not a bitch. Well then, what if she act like a bitch? Why are you hanging around what you said is acting like a female dog? Why don't you just get the fuck on there? Okay, if she act like a bitch, then get the fuck on. Or do something that changes it. Make moves that changes the state of this woman who's acting like a female dog. Do something that changes it so that by the time you leave, she either leaving with you or you leave and she's no longer acting that way. Other than that, go back to option one. Get the fuck on. Or, here's another one. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Well, what do we call her? How about this? You're going to love this one. By her name. Simple. But she's a prostitute. So what? Well, she sleep with multiple men. Now, that shit to do with you. Are you one of them? Are you mad about that? Are you jealous of the niggas? Wait, what? Are you jealous of her because she getting more niggas than you? I don't understand what's happening. What? Yeah, what? Okay, she's a prostitute. So what? Has nothing to do with you. Are you going to change the situation so she's not a prostitute no more? Okay, shut the fuck up. Or get the fuck on. Or change it. There go your options right there. Get the fuck on. Change it. Shut the fuck up. One of them. Yeah, you can't do one. You're not one of them. You're not him. Because if we encounter beings who acting like this, man, please, by the time we gone, they not. They not. And they going to want to be around, and they going to know they can't act like this around us. So get what? They going to stop. They're like, soon we walk in. Damn, when you walk in, they stop barking. But when I walk away, what do they do when you there? They bark? Yeah, you're the problem. Or don't say you a man. Don't say you some leader of your community. Everything that happened is your responsibility. Stupid. Everything that go on in your community is up to you. It's on you. It's on you. But bro, can you listen? Next time, don't do this. Next time, don't do this, bro. Next time, just do this. Just do this. Just do this. Just do that. Just do that. Cause all I'll be hearing. Next time, just do that. You know what I'm saying? But just do that. Just do that, bro. Just do that next time. Okay? So that'll make it easy for everybody. Just do that. Just do that. Cause when you doing this, especially in this day and time, it's some shit you need to understand, bro. And you don't. You don't get it. I ain't a nagging ass, whining ass nigga, bro. But the women, but the sisters, but we, red pill essential, how about you? Just do this, bro. Why you ain't do this? Why you ain't do that? Why you ain't like that? You could have did that. We wouldn't even know you did that. You would just did that. Y'all niggas want to be women. Y'all mad at women. Y'all hate women. We love women. Yeah, we love all other women. No matter what it is. Because they are a sign of our evolution. And we have to love them. Because niggas is not mating with niggas. Well, y'all are. But men are not reproducing with, well, damn, 2025. All right? Shit. Without the technology that they got, that's our future. We're going to have to do something. We got to do something. You know what I'm saying? Fighting them ain't gonna work. Because they close them legs, it's over. It's over. They shut down the floodgates. It's over. That's it. Ain't nobody even coming through here to be whining. You came through a woman whining about women. You know what I'm saying? Stop getting upset with them. When they say they body, they choice, y'all niggas be debating that. I be looking around like, that's a dumb debate. That is their body. And it is their choice. I don't understand. And they look like, what's Faise? I'm like, it's fucking simple science. Who else's body is it other than theirs? The fact that y'all made them have to fight to say that don't even make sense. That is true. You know what I mean? It'd be so, all this other shit. Y'all be saying stuff like, if a sister gets assaulted, she's supposed to let the seed stay there. And I'll be the only nigga looking around saying, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? What's wrong with y'all? How you gonna say that? What? Man, you don't even know what it means to be a woman. You don't know what it means to be her. And you don't know what it means to be assaulted and someone say, you got to keep the child. You don't know what that means. Because the assault was a demonic act. That means this being is a demon. And you telling them, keep a demon seed. And that don't mean the child gonna grow up to be evil or none of that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, why are you saying anything to them? Why are you saying stuff? It has nothing to do, you're not gonna be in a hospital with her. You're not gonna carry the child. You're not gonna raise a child. You're not gonna go through the recurring trauma. You're not gonna experience any of that. You're just gonna say your fucking piece and walk off, and she'll be, you wanna help? Help with resources. You want to help the sisters? You want to have an opinion on whether or not they let life come through here? How about help them? And I don't mean help them, meaning you get them some money, right? And then you turn around with your hand out asking if you can get some. Because that's the only time niggas want to help women. When they think they can get some. No, just help them. Make sure they got resources. Tell all the NOI, the Masons, the Moors, all to say, we got a problem, y'all. A lot of our sisters don't know whether or not they can take care of these babies. And it's not easy for them. And they got all these problems and worries and the community don't support it. We need to change that. You need to get in. You need to get on these predominantly men-based societies and nations. Talk about we going somewhere, you see a bunch of men walking. Right? Get on them and be like, yo, everybody come together. We need help. We need resources. Okay, because Planned Parenthood ain't going to do it. They're going to send $60 million to try to get rid of them. When they could take that same $60 million to make it be easier for women to be able to bring children through. Because a lot of times the sisters just have doubts and pressure. I have heard that from them. Make it be more of a favorable condition for the child to come through. Or shut the fuck up. When them women get the, man, y'all, I don't understand. Listen, when you see the sisters get to like giving them looks like what the fuck, and you see that lion coming up out of them, that sphinx reemerging out their DNA, where they could really just eat you alive because you trying to tell them what to do with their body, man, y'all need to pay more attention, bro. That's not a good sign. You're pushing something you don't understand. She been asking you. I'll never forget I was on Clubhouse. Listen, the woman been asking for help. We didn't help her. We was on Clubhouse. It was 2021. One of the sisters was talking about how they got some type of grant that women could file for, right? And one of the brothers got up there on the mic and started crying, right? Meaning like bitching. And he was like, I tried to apply for one of those grants, and they were like, man, if you're not a black woman, we can't help you. This is for black women. It's so fucked up because they want to help the black women, but when the black man gonna get some help? I said, nigga, you applied for a black woman grant. The fuck was you doing over there? That's not even your grant. You applied for a black woman grant. They said, you're not a black woman. And you walked away crying, talking about, man, this is bullshit. You walked past 100 nigger grants. You walked past 100 nigger grants. They talking to you all the way. Yo, you good? You want one of us? No. You looking like a damn cartoon character, your ears flopping. Then you sauntered your ass onto the microphone. And you start bitching and crying about some shit the government did to help one of the sisters. But if I ask you, well, what the fuck has the community done to help the sisters? You can't tell me shit. Oh, you gave her $40, but you wanted something in return. Yeah, you played like you wanted to help her get around, but you wanted something in return. All the government and them wanted in return is a tax write-off. Do y'all get what I'm explaining? So I said all of that to explain that the real ones don't have an issue with the matriarchy. The real ones also know y'all are not showing that you're ready for it. You can't be us. You gotta be you. You have to be you. We want it to happen. It's a sad thing when we see y'all are trying to be us because that's how y'all think power look. No, that's weakness. We have exhibited weakness. Caveman weakness. No. Real power is presence, poise, composure. All right? Intuition, being in tune with self, self-awareness. Okay? So, again, I'm not responsible for none of the stuff that people got going on. I'm on a mission. And if you get upset with me, ain't really nothing I can do about it. But I know how that is when people get upset, they don't have something they want or get their way. That's, people saying shit. I already know how that happens. But again, nobody has come out and said anything true about me. Not the people who don't know me, not the people who do know me, who want to attack me. Ain't nobody came out and said anything true. They ain't come out and talk about the sacrifices, none of that. You with me? So this world that's failing, it's all about lies and deception. And people are afraid of the truth. And they were talking about that, I think, in the Man Who Fell to Earth TV series. So yeah, y'all should watch that. Any questions? Name of the teacher in this shadow was Pardon Who? Pardon Who? Dr. Malachi York needs to be exonerated of all charges. Okay, everybody knows. Listen, they just did a filing. They did a filing where they was explaining, and one of the people came forth that was supposed to been a part of the trial and explained that one of the main people who say they're a witness, same thing I was talking to y'all about. They wound up doing a filing on that. One of the main people who say that they're supposed to be one of the victims, alleged victims, all of that, that's the one who was doing the stuff to the young boys. That woman, Nikki Lopez, they said she was doing that shit to the young boys, sleeping with young boys. And I know for sure one of them she was sleeping with. At least that's what they told me when we was shooting the video in, 2020? I think 2020 when all that stuff was going down. 2020, we were shooting a video for one of their songs. I wish I could remember it. Something like 90s, something like that. A guy named Kush. He told me Nikki was sleeping with him and he was a teenager. And I don't know if he told me that because he just thought he was talking to somebody random. But he was running his mouth. And he was doing it how dudes do when they brag on who they were having sex with. He didn't say it in a way that people might have interpreted from the filings. He said it in a way that was saying, he said, yeah, man, what'd he say? He said, yeah, Nikki was 25, I was 14. He said, I was fucking Nikki. He said, Nicole. He said, I was fucking Nicole and I was 14 years old. And I'm like, yo, you just admitted that. But see, the thing people don't understand is Nikki Lopez, who was supposed to be that alleged, she was given immunity, y'all. She was given immunity for child molestation. Y'all have to understand what I'm explaining to you. The government granted her immunity for having sex with minors. And she became the main lead person that was saying Malachi did shit. And all the people that was around on the case. They was being hit with shit that they was doing on the land. And Malachi didn't live there at the time. He didn't even live there. He had moved. He was in Athens, Georgia. He would come to teach on the land, but he didn't live on the land. Do y'all get what I'm saying to you? So the government says, oh, y'all did what to children? Okay, well, we're going to give you immunity because we want him. That had nothing to do with Malachi. That had something to do with people acting a certain way when a teacher was away. Doing certain things that weren't allowed when the teacher was away. When when they thought he wasn't able to see what was going on. That's what happened. And Jacob York used to be with Nikki. I talked to Jacob York on the phone, my right hand to the Most High. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. About 2 months ago, I talked to Jacob York. I reached out to get in touch with him. I ain't never spoke to Jacob. I had only did the letter. He swear up and down he never heard it. But I talked to Jacob York. He got in touch with me. Well, I reached out to him. He got back in touch with me. He said he reached out to Sal York, who was another one of the children. And he asked who I was. And then Sal was like, oh, yeah, Faise, he's good. Da-da-da-da. So then he got back in touch with me like, okay, you want to talk? So we spoke on the phone for about 2-3 hours. And within that conversation, I brought up Nikki Lopez because he was saying, I'm an advocate for, victims, da-da-da-da. I said, okay, well, let me ask you about Nikki. Let me ask you about Nikki Lopez. He's like, okay, go ahead. I said, well, Kush told me that he was having sex with Nikki when he was a child and she was an adult. He's like, yeah. He said, what are you going to do? He said, are you going to use whataboutism? Are you going to say, that what about Nikki? Because if this happened and that happened. He said, no, the thing is, this happened with Malachi. He switched it. I said, wait a minute. You say you're an advocate for victims. You don't play that shit, right? So why you play that shit when it comes to Nikki? Nikki Lopez victimized young boys. But Nikki Lopez followed Jake. And if I'm not mistaken, Jacob York followed Nikki Lopez. Make it make sense to me. If she is a victimizer, then you don't fuck with her either. You see what I'm saying? Not only did the government give her immunity, she was writing a letter to Sheriff Seals. She was riding with Jacob York, planning things out. All this was being said when I was a child. They went down to Tampa, Florida. Habiba Washington said this happened. All right. Farasha Muhammad said it happened. A few different people, Leah York said it happened. That they was making this shit up. They made it up. They made it all up. They literally rented a van, went down to Tampa, Florida, and was getting all their stories together. And they had been planning it for some time. It wasn't just no look thing. They had been planning it for some time. Are y'all with me? It's so clear to see. And Dr. Malachi York has maintained his innocence for 23 years. And y'all won't scream free him. But y'all screaming free a nigga who get hit up with one situation with one child. And his baby mama saying, this is where I drew the line at my child. You done put your hands on me. You done beat on me. You did all this other stuff. But when my child came to me, no, I'm going to the people. And I got her on here. We talked about it. So we went through that whole case because it wasn't much to go through. You don't want to deal with Dr. Malachi York case? I understand it. It's extensive. I understand it. But it shows you more. Another thing, Dr. Malachi York spoke on this. The amount of times they said he would have had to have sex with younger people, all of that stuff that he was supposed to be having sex with. He said they literally did the math on it. He would have been having sex 1,000 times, over 1,000 times a week. At 58. Or 50, whatever. I think it was 58 when he went in. But 50-something years old, he would have been having sex over 1,000 times a week. To have all them counts line up. Also, be able to write books and put them out how he was putting them out. And be on the land teaching damn near all the time. And be on the move, making stuff happen, working in the hospitals, helping people, going and doing, I think it was partnering with like St. Jude's, going to see the cancer patients, looking out, building stuff, all kind of stuff he was doing. Where the fuck would he have had the time to even, and he said he had some type of condition that they had said he diagnosed with that made it be that he wasn't even easily sexually stimulated or aroused. It made it harder or something like that. And he's an elder. But he was supposed to be doing that shit for 1,000 years. Yeah, for 9 years straight, 1,000 times a week. That's why the prosecution was like, we're going to take all these counts down to like maybe a couple hundred counts, 200 counts, because the jury ain't going to believe it. Fuck if the jury believes it. If it's the truth, it's the truth. No, y'all fucked up your math. And you knew that shit didn't make sense. That's why you took the counts down. You see what I'm saying? That's why they took the counts down. Because the shit didn't make sense. And then they blocked people from the trial, y'all. They blocked people who was around Malachi. They blocked people who, it was a nigga who was like, Tariq Noel, who said some shit happened on one of these days. One of the niggas got on Clubhouse, right? He was like, nigga, that was your 7th birthday. You were dressed up like Batman. I was with you. You were nowhere near Baba that day. You were nowhere near him. You understand? Meaning he wouldn't have been able to see you, be in your, whatever, around you, none of that. But that's what niggas was, and all this is recorded. Tariq Noel has 3 recanted statements. He said some shit happened, then he recanted and said it didn't happen, then he recanted his recantment and said it did happen. Tariq Noel, which is Barbara Noel's son, Barbara Noel messaged Dr. Melikazi York's office. She emailed his office, and I think she said, I can't remember the exact amount, but it was somewhere along the lines of, if we can get, what she say, 5 installments of 10,000 or 10 installments of 5,000 or something to that effect, we can make all this go away. Nuh-uh. Not somebody that been fucking with your child. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. You can make it all go away. The paralegals still got that email. They blocked the paralegals. You see what I'm saying? What you mean make all this go away? You collaborated with the federals. You collaborated. Y'all did that. And y'all need to watch what y'all be saying too. When they say, oh, Jacob York snitched on his dad. To snitch is to say some shit happened that happened. No, Jacob York lied. And he knows it. And you had Uma York who said Jacob approached her and tried to get her to join in on the, on the conspiracy. And she wouldn't do it. People were approached, a few people were approached, and they turned it down and said, no, I don't want no parts in this. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going against him. He didn't do nothing. So y'all go back and watch all them recanted statements, man. Habiba knows what's going on. She mad at Malachi because he said, Habiba, tell them the truth, Abigail. Tell them it was you doing that stuff. Tell them you was the one who was bisexual. Tell them that you was the one who was trying to sneak people in his house. He would be on the road, y'all, and people would be doing stuff in his house. He said he was naive to any of that. He said he come back. He said he came back one time. Somebody was naked in his tub. They were having orgies in his house. Jacob and them throwing parties. And he said, I was so naive to all of that. He said, he said, for your own soul, y'all should want to tell the truth. Y'all should want it to be made straight, the record. But you want to know what he said? And it fucked me up. I heard this on the phone. He said, I love y'all anyway. After he said, for your own soul, you should want to tell the truth. You should want to come out. He said, but I love y'all anyway. That's what we dealing with. I heard him recently say, he said, y'all want me to be mad at them. I'm too old to be mad at them. He said, y'all got energy and time to be mad at them. He said, y'all be mad at them. He said, I'm too old to be mad at them. They want to slander, let them slander. He said, they want to pay them to make these documentaries. Tell them to get their money. He's still focusing on the truth. After all that they were saying, he said, tell them to get their money. He said, Nuwapu is too powerful to be stopped anyway. Y'all with me? So, yeah, y'all, don't worry. I'm going to start having my live moderated. Because I think it might be some disruptions. Because when I speak and I tune, I be looking out in the distance. So sometimes I'm not looking at these comments. I just be speaking and letting what need to come through, come through. But don't worry, I'm gonna start letting the live be moderated. Anybody attempting to F up the algorithm or the algorithm that we have in here, just get them up out of here. Because they're not a part of this story. You know what I'm saying? They're not even a part of it. They don't care. I get off live, they get off live. Some of these people be agents and bots. Literally, y'all. Some of y'all be responding to algorithm. It's that deep. Some people be feds, be sitting here to throw shit off. Niggas like Chuck Norgan gonna swear up and down he not the feds. But he been, dedicated over a decade of trying to tear somebody who already locked up down. That's what he does. So, and then he got his ass handed to him in one of them rooms. He had a picture with Dr. Melikazi York saying he was guilty. And one of the brothers who was there stepped to him and was like, yo, Larry, that was his name. He said, Larry, you saying you saying he guilty? You witnessed any of this stuff? He was like, no. He said, okay, you say he did this, that, and the third. Did you see that? No. You say he's this way. Did you witness that? No. And then when a nigga started telling his story of his experience with Malachi, all his stories with Malachi is agreeable. No disrespect, all love for teacher. The nigga sounded like an obsessed fan, which is what that nigga is. He's an obsessed fan. How the fuck I was 6, 7 years old when I first started seeing this nigga say shit. And this nigga still talking to tear him down. Still. Y'all hear me? Don't worry. Is this a problem? Bidding with Capo, you finna get blocked. We ain't playing like that. Who the fuck? Y'all don't exist. That's a problem? He been a problem? Cause like I said. Yeah, bye. What? Bye? What? For what? Why? For what? For why do you exist? For what? Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah. It's all in 135 right there too. Man, this shit, it's been a long time coming, y'all. This shit clearly is so fucking clear. It's plain as black and white. They want a Malachi York song. I was talking about that today. Plain as black and white. Any fool can see. Like, it's right there in front of you. You know what I mean? Don't worry about these Amun Ra da 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 da. Listen, they all want to be Malachi. He said they were gonna do that. They were gonna start naming themselves Egyptian names. They just little people, y'all. They little people. Do y'all think they would have any of that type of anything if they came across me or any of the brothers? Come on now. They just little people. So I am a monodo rather. Nigga, your name Thomas. Where your birth certificate? Nigga, your name Thomas. You don't even speak the language. You just chose some names. So I like this, I like this, I like this. Oh, my concoction. Get the fuck out of here, Thomas. All right, Dillard. Okay, Dillard. He's not the real master teacher. All right, Dillard. Little Bill. You know what I mean? I've been studying Dr. York teaching for 30 years. I know a lot. No, the fuck you don't. Because if you just studying his teachings, you don't know what you're doing. Man, listen, we ain't worried. It's all good, y'all. These little people, it ain't no issue. It's been time. It's been a long time. Every time I hear him talk, he just be explaining like he going into more detail every time. Y'all niggas would have made it a year in incarceration. I don't know what you are, bro, but you need to slow down because if I can't see what you're saying and people like having to be like on your ass, you finna get blocked. I don't care about losing a follower. You about to get blocked. Slow down. You don't know where you at. Be quiet. Slow down. Or go do some shit. Go make something happen. Go do a live. Go make posts. Go make waves out here. I'm not interested in what you got to teach me. Too late. That makes sense? Is that ego enough? I'm not interested in shit you got to tell me. Too late. Too late. You said you've been studying Dr. York. He ain't been studying you. He don't know you exist. What the hell? You ever been to the land? Like, bro, who is you? Why are you? Cool out. Y'all better start cooling out quick. Yeah, rumors and lies are the biggest weapon of the devil, for sure. Y'all, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up because, man, this shit couldn't have happened if it weren't people like inside the family, inside the community that was like, they was fucked up. They was doing all kind of shit. You with me? And I was saying like people trying to do like all this damage control type shit, act like the Nuwapians was just on some angelic shit. No, the fuck they wasn't. There was too much shit going on, bro. And again, they gonna have to take accountability and stop trying to protect people. You know what I mean? Stop trying to protect these people who did the shit. Stop trying to protect these people who was predators. Stop trying to protect these people who got put out the land and exiled for the fuck shit. Stop trying to protect them. That's the only thing that be like, damn. Cause it was them folks. Then you heard Malachi say, he said, y'all don't know why Jacob York got put out the land or out the community. This was before the land. He said, because he molested somebody. You know what I'm saying? As a community, man, we gotta get that shit together because I know it's like all this a family, man, we gotta stop letting this shit be like that. You feel what I'm saying? Motherfucker, do some shit, bro. Get their ass up out of there. Not just like out the community. I'm talking about get their ass up the fuck out of there. Get them up out of there. You know what I mean? There's all kind of people talking about shit that happened with Jake. And then these be people working with the governments. They be collaborating. So they ain't gonna come for them. They had a bit. All this work done went into trying to take Malachi down. He's still standing. All these years. Y'all did government work by trying to tear him down. Y'all did they work for him. They took payments from them alphabet boys to lie and try to come to me for help afterwards, running for their lives. Exactly. And a lot of them didn't even get their money. A lot of them was expecting payment for participating in this fraudulence, and they didn't get their money. A lot of the government witnesses got on the stand and testified on behalf of Malachi. Said, well, the ones they calling children, all them who were grown, they were like, it was the two FBI ladies told me to say this. I didn't know. He didn't do anything to me. They told me I had to say this. I'm not no type of I don't fuck with you, bye. Why the fuck am I listening to this nigga wearing some Naruto shit? Well, bro, y'all better start learning. Yeah. And it's definitely time out for motherfuckers trying to say you emotional or anything because you don't got time for bullshit. Then bye. Get the fuck away from my emotional ass. We're going to build what he dreamed. You ain't building shit without him. It's clear. You ain't building shit but a comment. You came on here and commented. Dillard. You ain't building nothing. Niggas still talking about, we got to build. He built it. He wasn't just talking. We got to build. Nigga, you built characters on a screen and said enter. You hit send. You ain't building shit. What the fuck they built what he dreamed? What the fuck? I don't have to worry about that again, though. Till they doing a burner. Yeah, it is one of them Helmetians. Somebody's gonna build what he dreamed. What the fuck is up with this red, black, and fucking green square shit? What the fuck, bro? You think we in Marcus Garvey time period? Y'all niggas, bro. Y'all gotta understand, bro. Y'all gotta understand. Y'all are trapped 100 years ago talking about you gonna build some shit. That's why you still in 1921. He already built it, silly. Fast forward. Fast forward to like 1993, 94, 95. He already did it. That's the problem. Y'all still left the fuck behind. No disrespect to Marcus Garvey. Excuse me. That's done. That's over. Excuse me. We did it. Whoever was there for that, that was that. People's Political Party, great. Marcus Garvey, the Jamaicans and the African flag thing, it was fun. It makes sense, kind of, right? So what? Pan-Africanism? It happened already. What? What? Chances are that niggas in the U.S. Talking about we gotta build some shit. Nigga, with them blocks you put in, you supposed to be in Africa. You supposed to be in Africa. This shit is a lot. I would have loved to have been on the land. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, you met me. If you met me, in a way you have been on the land. When you run into someone who's a true Nuwaubian, you'll experience it. You know, a couple people came out January 1st. They met me in person. They came to one of the locations. They came here. And it was set up like Tom Ray. I had a pyramid outside, all of that. It was beautiful. This floor that you're looking at here, we put like this sandy looking carpet shit down. It looked like the beach. Had all the lights, all that. It was amazing. So you met me. You've been a Tom Ray in a way. It was the only place on the planet that you never want to leave and wouldn't have to either. Exactly. My father told me it was literally like heaven on earth. Your father is telling the truth. Okay? Speaking from someone who experienced it, family. Man. Dun-dun-dun. We on the computer. Oh, I almost showed y'all something. Man. I'm working on some shit. Now. Shit gonna be hard. Y'all wanna know what I'm working on? Alright, cause y'all here, I'm gonna show y'all. I ain't gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you. I ain't gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you. You ready? You gotta be quick now. 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right, that's it. That's all you get. That's all you get. To it. One more time. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, that's it. That's how you get. It's gonna be up. It's gonna be up now. It's gonna be up. Twin. That was the hardest promo ever, ain't it? Shit, nigga. It gonna be up, twin. Try to tell you something you don't know, twin. Gotta put my hands on some shit. Boy. Figure some shit out, man. I'm hard now. I'm fire with this shit. Now y'all ready? Lead one. I'm gonna give you the lead one. Lead one, twin. Lead one. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1. Juke. Yeah. This shit gonna be so hard though. That's all you get right now. All right, let me pull this shit up. That shit gonna be hard as hell, boy. You know I ain't finna play around. We on some shit. All right. Oh, we got someone about to put some new stuff up. This Tom Ray. Whoa, I ain't never seen this. Hold on. They done put some new shit up? Or did I see this before? This Tom Ray, y'all. This where I was at. This where I grew up at. Look at that shit. This is in Edith in Georgia, y'all. You see them big ass pyramids in the back? They go pop. Now this is a big deal now. This is a big deal now. Cause we don't have no authority. We got niggas who calling themselves Pharaoh, but there is no authority. Nobody has had a procession. No one, where would you do it? Where would you do it at? It has to be around your your pyramid. And then you have to know all of, man, this shit was a big deal. Look how they walking, they on a mission. Look at the Moors, look at the Egyptians, look at everybody. In motion. You hear the drums, the music going on in the background. Man, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it's nothing like it. What is this?
Peacock is the streaming home of Dogman. Unbelievable! Why do you always gotta look inside of my back?
Look how many people out there that y'all see in the background. Y'all see all them people out there? All that is people. People were there to witness the procession of an authority, a pharaoh in real that's unheard of. That hasn't happened for thousands of years. You understand that? I'm going to say it one more time. What y'all are looking at hasn't happened for thousands of years. We can't come into the. Oh, he's gonna speak.
Concerned with the sneakers? Hello? Somebody murdered some people because they wanted this cult, as they call it, out of that highfalutin suburban neighborhood. All you gotta do is watch the movie Birds and you see how it happens. A comedy that really takes place where a bunch of people look over at a group of people like us and start to assume that we are going to commit suicide because I say so. You know what I'm saying? First of all, they don't know us, obviously. You with me? And with that, the best thing they can do with the public is say, oh, out there, anything there, they must be like Heaven Gate. Heaven Gate was Christians. Jim Jones, Christian. David Quist, I'm not a Christian. And you know why it's easy for a Christian to commit suicide? You want to know why? Because God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. They made it a part of their doctrine that if you commit suicide, you go to heaven. It's a good thing because Jesus came here, according to them, and basically committed suicide. Because he knew if he stayed in Jerusalem, that they was going to kill him. And he told his disciples, I know what they're going to do to me. And the disciples said, well, why don't we just jump, go to another city? No. The hour is coming. That's the point. The hour is coming. They say, that's the point. So he said, no, I got a better idea. Let's go sit up in the upper room and have some red wine.
Man, he stay doing this shit. I was just talking about the upper room. This is amazing. Before I even got on the live, I was talking with my wife, Asia, about the upper room, and we were trying to figure out whether or not it was a song. And all I could remember was the movie Life, when the nigga was like, the upper room. So I was like, and she was like, the song? I was like, it's not a song. Well, I don't know if it's a song. We had to find out. I'm like, well, you're right, it's a song. Like, this is amazing. I ain't never heard this part. I've heard clips of this, but I never heard this.
And discuss how they're going to kill me. And then we'll leave there. We're going to go to the garden. Y'all take a little nap. I'm going to go further, talk to my father. Let him know I'm coming home soon. I'm out in the street, and I got to call home. So I go to the telephone and say, yo, man, I got to check in. Call home your mom. I know I'm supposed to be home at 12, but I'm going to come about 1 maybe. So Jesus goes in the garden. The disciples go to bed. He goes a little further in the garden, calls his father, says, oh, my father, if it's possible, could you let this cup pass by me? Not if I will. But, the thou will be done. His father called him and said, no, nigga, you gonna die. You ain't down there to die. I gave birth to you so that I can watch them beat you up, humiliate you, spit on you, whip you, and then nail you on a cross so I can watch you suffer in the sun sweat because I love them. Well, when you start teaching a child that philosophy, there's a great possibility that he'll grow up and become a David or a Jim Jones. When you teach a philosophy to young men that they are supposed to lay their head on the bosom of Jesus, you breed a certain mentality. That's right. I say, like it or not, in Christianity, break it down into 2 groups.
Somebody cut that part. Which one of y'all niggas cut that part? Y'all knew where you were going.
Great possibility that he'll grow up and become a David or a Jim Jones. When you teach a philosophy to young men that they are supposed to lay their head on the bosom of Jesus, you breed a certain mentality. That's right. I say,
one of y'all niggas cut it. He struck a nerve on one of y'all niggas. I'm going to find out who.
Like it or not, in Christianity, break it down into 2 groups. All the women lay your head on the bosom of Jesus. And all the men lay your head on the bosom of Mary. Now this makes genetic sense to me. But for all the women to have their head on the bosom of Mary, and all the men to have their head on the bosom of Jesus, sounds a little, what we say, Faith? You with me? So when you have doctrines like that talk to you when you are a baby, you don't have a chance. And then the world has stacked this against you. So when you come back and say, I'm a God, they go, what do you mean by that? What it sound like? You don't want to tell me what the word God means, isn't it? I didn't come here speaking this language, did I? You ain't no God, you know I'm God. That's why in American education system, I can read about Egypt, and you got Osiris, you got Horus, you got Ra, you got Anubis, you got all of them as God. And as time has proven, and I'm before time, that was and is me. Because I can go to Egypt and look up and see me. The way you go in the Christian church and look up and see you. And I ain't got nothing against you going to Christian church and looking up and seeing you and worshiping you. So why do you have a problem with me looking over there at that statue and worshiping me? Why am I some kind of thought? Some kind of ritual or demonic thing? Because I want to worship in the image of myself. And you know what? We get along a lot better. Because I respect you for who you are. And you respect me for who I am. And as long as we don't get into a conversation on the origin of everybody, you ain't got no problem. And I won't bring it up if you don't bring it up.
Come on.
I wouldn't have to be talking about it now if you didn't bury it. You know it. When you tell a person don't touch it, that's exactly what they're going after. Now you gave us Islam, and we was whitewashed there. I don't mean color-wise, I mean mentally. You gave us Christianity, whitewashed. You gave now we Hebrew Israelite church. Some of us became highly Christian. Some niggas walk around with a bunch of little knots back there. All the highly Christians got braids, you know, because most Hindus got straight hair. But the Negroes in Manhattan, they had little bush and knots. But they were hidey like Cab Calloway. They were hidey.
Oh, man.
And now, after all the years of me being kidnapped, I finally open the book and find something that relates to me that's going to make me a better person. And you oppose it? I find something that will make me stop using crack. How many of y'all use crack? Now. How many of y'all drink to drunkenness? Now. How many of you women are walking around whoring now? How many of y'all are going out to steal and take things from people now? How many of y'all are concerned about reading and researching everything you can about everybody? How many of y'all have been encouraged to stay in school and finish college and to get degrees? Why is there something wrong with that philosophy? What do you want me to teach? You want me to teach hate white people? Burn down America? Where I live? And I'm standing? You know how dumb I'd have to be struck the sword or branch that I'm standing on? We ain't no militia. You created militia. Because it's in the Constitution. You went on and said, well, if you don't like what's going on, get a well-regulated militia. And you messing around trying to amend the flag, you better get that out of there. When you say there's over 5,000 militia groups in the country and you worry about who steps on the flag, you better state that it's growing. And I don't have a militia group. What you giving me? What are we being given that is going to change us as a people for the better? Direction. A lot of you young boys are pulling the doggone pants up and tying the sneakers, thanks in the waffle. We're not going to be a part of the hip-hop world. We're going to take over the hip-hop world and make it a message. Because it's a vehicle to reach the youth.
I never heard it. I never heard it.
We're going to take over the hip-hop world.
I'm going to have to clip that. I never heard him say that.
We're not going to be a part of the hip-hop world. We're
going to take over
the
it.
hip-hop world.
Come on. I never heard him say this.
And make it a message. Because it's a vehicle to reach the youth.
That's what I said. I literally said, but I'm using this shit as a vehicle.
Because it's a vehicle to reach the youth. When you look around out here, all this building, most of this building out here was young brothers and sisters who came here to help. I'm talking about from 30 down. Of course, there was some old fogies out here. Yeah.
And it's so crazy y'all saying that right here. You said like how he ahead of the time. This 1990, he stayed ahead of time though. He ahead of time now. Imagine the things he's saying now. He said we would, right? And look what's happening. Same way he said the whole world was gonna know who he is. Look what's happening. A lot of that happening through us. It's still happening.
Because it's a vehicle to reach the youth. When you look around out here, all this building, most of this building out here was young brothers and sisters who came here to help. I'm talking about from 30 down. Of course, there was some old fogies out here. Yeah. But
you said replay the hip hop line?
For the better. And tying and sneakers. We're not going to be a part of the hip hop world. We're going to take over the hip hop world and make it a message. Because it's a vehicle to reach the youth.
This bicycle symbol, everybody calls it that. They used to call it that in Ansar a lot. It's interesting. This bicycle symbol is 2 letters. It's read from right to left, and it's the H symbol and the U symbol. Who? It's ancient Egyptian language. A script.
When you look around out here, all this building, most of this building out here.
And if you don't know, who is like that. In the beginning was the word is who. Because who is a word that means word in ancient Egyptian. Creative utterance.
There was young brothers and sisters who came here to help. I'm talking about from 30 down. Of course, there was some old fogies out here. Yeah. But most of it was young people. Young men and women who painted all this stuff. You know why? Look up there. If he wasn't making that graffiti, he would have been on the mortar or somewhere in the subway, spraying in the subway. But because we create a vehicle for him to get this out of his system and still do something creative, he's here. How many people here right now are under 30 years old? Look at here. Talking about we are the world, looking to a brighter day, and we can't let them turn us around. We have sampled every delicacy that has been put before us. We tasted it. Right? Now we have our own. Tomorrow, maybe when you start to make your move, the temple is not totally complete. It'll be deeper than that by next year. Way before that. But when you do make the ritual of alignment back with your ancestors, remember, it's yours. When the Muslims talk about Mecca, he said, I got my own Mecca. The Jews start talking about Jerusalem, so I got my own Jerusalem. And people ain't throwing rocks at each other and fighting over it. I got my own holy city. I have my own prayer. I have my own stuff. And why can't I have my own stuff? You got your stuff. And how as I tried to fit in your stuff, you wouldn't let me in anyway. And now when I break off and do my own thing, you are welcome. Regardless of who you are, you can come on into our world and be a part. You can bring your family up in this world. I don't care who you are, blonde hair, blue eyes, green hair, purple eyes. I ain't got no time for it. It hurts people. If I hurt any human being, I'm hurting myself.
Come on.
And we in the Nawapian nation don't have the time for that crap. We gotta prepare for a journey. And if we fail to make the journey because of our own weaknesses and shortcomings and the crime have to keep on going, we got to survive. And we will survive. But we will be in control of our destiny from this day on. And when you talk to people, you got to let them know that you are in control of your destiny. But there was nothing wrong in history when they said, give me liberty or give me. So don't make it a crime when I say it. Without the gimme. Without the gimme. You can't give me anything. I am that I am. I always was. I was there before the Bible. Remember that. I was one of the us that said, let us make man.
Nah, I ain't running that back. They heard it, they heard it.
What does your video sound like? Go to artlist.io and get the best music and sound effects for your videos.
The earth, but man is acting the fool down there. And they're going to babble their tongues, right? So they came to earth. We didn't get around to from where yet. They came to earth and they made it so everybody started breaking up into different dialects. Right? If they had one language there that was broken up into different dialects, then that language must have been a combination of all those dialects.
Come on.
So when God was speaking, you would have heard Arabic as Syriac, Hebrew, Amharic, Chaldean, Akkadian. You would have heard the language. This is why they say cuneiforms or wedges. And when you go all the way back to Sanskrit, you find wedges. When you go back to Chinese, you find wedges. When you go back to ancient Ham, called Egypt today, you find wedges. When you go back to Samaria, you find wedges where people simply tapped on stone. All of it was the same language, the language of God, that has now been broken up into small languages who all are fighting over whose language is the oldest. So, God decided to come to earth and unbabble the tongue by putting the language back together again.
I just was talking about that.
No doubt about it. They can't deny it. It's a reality, y'all. What we do is real. They're trying to figure out a language. They created their own language, a whole language. And they did it at the same time that a plot to introduce Ebonics from ebony in it, which is as racist as you can get. We don't need an ebony